Oh, cool. Now that we got your attention. Well, welcome everybody.
Woohoo!
Thanks for coming. This being a listening event, if you'd kill your cell phones, that would be awesome. Everybody should know where the food and beverages are. Food's in the house. Beverages are all set up out here. Bathrooms are down the hallway. You can use the main bedroom bathroom if you need to, if there's a line. And please, don't feed the little beggar dog.
Too late.
Please don't.
You talking about me?
Yeah. We'd like to thank all of our guests for supporting live music and for being here. And please spread the word to your friends. We get more people here by word of mouth than you'd believe.
Woo!
And after having said all that, I'd like to introduce Mike Nash.
Thank you very much. Thank you guys for being here, man. This is only my second time, Melissa and I's second time being here. And we were trying to figure out, I think it's been about 3 years, and it was in November the last time we were here. So I looked on the weather app today and it said 65, so I wore jeans. I forgot, it's California 65, it's different. So I'm normally in shorts and flip-flops and tropical attire, but I dressed for the occasion today. So. Well, thank you guys for coming, and I know a few of you, this is your first time doing anything like this. It's like, what the hell's a house concert? That sounds kind of odd, but this is the way that I'm able to make my living and do what Melissa and I love, which is traveling and meeting wonderful folks and bringing music around the world, and just a different kind of vibe that I wasn't really sure if it would fit this area the first time, and then I remember meeting all the Bakersfield folks and all the history that's in this area of California, and realized, yeah, this is a great place to do something like this. Lots of music lovers up here. All right, so I'm going to take you on a trip today. We're going to Belize to start off. Belize is, any of you guys ever been to Belize, the island of Ambergris Caye? I know you guys, because you were there with us. Well, we have fallen in love with this place, and it's a little tiny island called Ambergris Caye. It's right off the coast of Belize, and if you have no idea where Belize is at, that's okay. Don't worry about it, because the first time somebody told me about it, I thought it was in Africa, but it's actually on the Yucatan part of Mexico, just below Mexico. It's the first little country tucked down there on the Caribbean side. Very beautiful place. And one of the things I love about going down there is it's, well, this works better when I talk to people in big cities like LA and stuff. I was going to say it's kind of like going back in time to a simpler thing. But so is Tehachapi, which is why you guys love it, I guess. Anyway, this is a song I wrote. I was sitting in my hammock one afternoon and I was looking out at the water. It's beautiful turquoise Caribbean sea. On the island, all the Belizeans, it's an English-speaking country. They were a British colony until '81. They gained their independence. And so much like us, you know, they're just old country folks. Good people, and they're very proud of their country. They want to make sure that you have the time of your life when you're down there. And if you ever get the chance to go, that will definitely be one of your most favorite things of your trip. Is the Belizean people are just so wonderful. And the laws there are a little different than ours. You know, they're actually, in a lot of ways, they're more free than we can tend to be sometimes. I'll give you an example. On the beach, the first 15 feet of shoreline all around the island are called Queensland, public land. You don't own it. So though you may have a dock, you put a dock out on the water at the edge of your house, that becomes public domain. That means anybody can walk on your dock, anybody can hook up a boat to your dock, you know. Anybody can walk down the beach. They don't have all the Marriotts and Hiltons building fences and saying, no, you can't come in here. They're free. They say, you know what, we're only here for a little while. We don't own this. We're just renting it for a few moments of life. So I always thought that was kind of cool. And I was sitting there thinking one afternoon, what if one of those chairs could talk? What would it have to say about living its whole life right there in paradise and watching all these Americans in a hurry to get somewhere, never slowing down and just taking the time to take it all in. So this is what I came up with. I sit here all day in this shady spot under the palaver hut at the end of this dock. There ain't much to do, but the view's pretty cool, watching life pass me by the marching by. Yeah, they take in the view, take a picture or two, but they never take the time just to soak it all up, let it all in, sit for a spell with an old friend. It's the love that you give and the time that you spend with the ones that you love, let you know that you're living. So take a day off, drink a few beers, spend the years of your life, putting life in your years. And if you find an old wooden chair, just sit there. But what do I know? I'm just a salty old soul, all weathered and worn. And I see a lot of folks, yeah, they come and they go like a summertime storm. Man, it ain't that hard to figure it out from where I'm sitting. Yeah, life's all about the love that you give and the time that you spend with the ones that you love, let you know that you're living. So take a day off, drink a few beers, spend the years of your life, putting life in your years. And if you find an old wooden chair, man, just sit there. Take a little time, I've got nothing but time to share. All of your worries ain't going nowhere. So dust off the spot, sit right there and take some advice from an old wooden chair. Cause it's the love that you give, it's the time that you spend with the ones that you love. And that's what I call living. So take a day off, go on and drink a few beers, spend the years of your life, putting life in your years. And if you need an old wooden chair, well, I'll always be right there. So when you see an old wooden chair, just sit there. Just sit there. What are you in such a hurry for anyway? All those problems are still going to be there tomorrow. It's an island. You can't go that far anyway. You just walk around in circles all the time. So I sit here all day in this shady spot under the palapa hut with a palapa top. There ain't much to do, but the view's pretty cool. Watching life pass me by the water. Thank you.
Very nice.
Speaking of having a few drinks, I'm gonna need one to get through the day. Oh, you talked to Mark?
Yeah, I'm talking to him right now.
Awesome! I just saw him this week. We were down in Puerto Penasco with him all week. Yeah, I was just telling these guys, we've been, if I seem a little unenergetic today, you'll have to excuse me. I'm doing my best, but we've been going for 13 days nonstop. We started this run of the tour in Houston at a big music festival we call the Lone Star Luau. It's a big trop rock parody music festival. And then we went straight to, flew into Yuma and drove down to San Felipe, which I've seen a few of you guys in San Felipe. We played a couple shows down there, Mexico, came back up for San Diego, flew over to Phoenix, drove down to Rocky Point for the last week and spent the last 5 days drinking heavily in Mexico with all of our friends and Mark Mulligan. And so, yeah, we're here now. We got you guys in Vegas tomorrow. And then here's the funny thing is on Monday and Tuesday, Melissa and I would probably be the only two people in the entire city of Las Vegas who don't leave the hotel room. We'll be on vacation, just getting a rest. Well, tell Mulligan I said hi. That's really cool. I was told that Kelly, I mean, you guys were here for Kelly McGuire's show when Kelly was here a while back. I'm told he went and laid down for a nap in the bed there. That sounds just like Kelly. That's something he would do. Well, I know we got some dogs around here. Do we have any dog lovers out here in Tehachapi, California? I hope you raised your hand, because if you didn't, you're going to hell. So, who doesn't love dogs? Well, down on the island, I've been very inspired since we found the island. So I'm finding a lot of my songs now are inspired by one thing or another from the island. And this one really hit me one afternoon, because I'm sitting there watching this dog. And anywhere else, it would be a stray dog. You know, and you probably have stray dogs around here. They shit in your yard and they piss you off, and you're always mad at it. See, there you go. Well, I noticed that on an island, they take on a different life, you know, because down there, likely what happens is, you know, the owner might pass away, or the owner might move away, and the dog just becomes part of the island. And you might own him for a few days, and then he goes over to your house for a few days. And I was watching this guy, and I'm like, these dogs are smart. They're getting away with living in paradise for free. You come over and you give him some beer and a couple of shots, and he come over here and eat some of your food. And I was like, this guy's got it figured out, man. If I get a chance to come back as a dog, I think I'll be doing pretty good. So that was the inspiration. We don't know his name. We just call him Rex. He's just Rex the island dog. So that's where this came from. Well, I'm writing this one for a buddy of mine. He lives on the island. He's been here his whole life. And he ain't got much, but he sure gets by. In fact, I don't think I've ever seen him spend a dime. Now, I don't know what his name is, or if anybody claims him. Hell, I ain't even sure if there's a name that would fit. He's got a tattered old collar that hangs off his neck, but the words are all worn. I can't read what it says, so I just call him Rex. Now every morning I wake up making breakfast fajitas. He's out on my front porch eating mosquitoes. We chat there for hours, though I talk more than he does. He's teaching me a lot between shots of tequila. I think life ain't gotta be so hard. Yeah, all you really need is a beach. Just look at old Rex napping in the shade and eating all his meals for free. Man, he ain't ever worried about money. He just hangs out all day playing fetch. I think I've got this whole secret to life thing figured out. Hell, all you gotta be is a Rex. Now sometimes he'll run off, but just for the night. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's got him a little piece on the side. 'Cause he's back in the morning just wagging his tail, big old grin on his face. I think, oh hell, man, life ain't gotta be so hard. Yeah, all you really need is a girl. Just look at old Rex, it's as good as it gets. He's the happiest guy in the world. 'Cause he ain't ever had his heart broken, and he ain't gotta put up with his ex. I think he's got this whole secret to life thing figured out. Man, all you gotta be is a Rex. You get to be everybody's best friend. Play around in the dirt, and home is where you lay your head. And everybody loves you, so nobody cares if you pass out all day on your front steps. All you gotta be is a Rex. Or live way out here in Tehachapi. I don't think anybody would mind that. Yeah, that's how you can live on an island. You just get rid of all your stuff. You let your hair grow out and practice your puppy dog face. You just might get lucky enough. Because every dog has his day, as they say. So who says you couldn't be next? Now you ain't gonna need any money, so you can just give that all to me. Because you see, all you gotta be is a Rex. Yeah, all you gotta be is a Rex. right, everybody. Got a few getting in here. Come on in. Welcome. Thank you guys for coming. This is, I remember Cliff and Karen and Melissa and I. Oh, well, thank you very much, sweetie. Come on up. Cha-ching. Oh, she's a doll. Thanks so much for that.
Yeah, she takes after her dad.
Well, she doesn't have the same beard as you, though. Got a little different beard going. Yeah, Cliff and Karen and Melissa and I have been friends for many, many years, and since back in when they were the president of the LA Parrot Head Club many, many years ago, and he said, yeah, we're working on this big airplane thing, and they're moving me up to Mojave to Tehachapi. I was like, where the hell's that? And we came up here, about 3 years ago, I think it was, right about a year after they moved here. And we saw the place and everything. He said, we're going to get a house concert venue started. And I said, you're going to do what? Up here in the middle of nowhere? Well, they've done a hell of a job. So, and amazing. This is good. And I love what you guys have done with the place, too. This feels like a venue now. It's pretty amazing. But you set your mind to it. So I'm just curious, because I know I met a few of you guys last time. I see a lot of new faces, but then some of us know each other from other places. Yeah, out of curiosity, how many of you guys are like Parrot Head, Jimmy Buffett fans, like Jimmy Buffett music? Quite a few of you. Okay, cool. So obviously, since the last time we saw each other, we lost. I lost my guitar. We lost Jimmy, and that was for a lot of us in our trop rock Parrot Head world. That's kind of left a big gaping hole because. You know, you don't want your heroes to die. Unfortunately, in life, that's the way things do work. But you know, after losing Jimmy, and he'd done so much to help guys like me and pave the road for things like this to even be possible. You know, half of us wouldn't even know each other if it wasn't for that one man's existence. I'm gonna fix that at the break. I gotta tighten it up. So.
Is the position good for you?
It works for me. I don't know. It feels like it might be a little loud for you guys out there. No? Okay. I can't. I'm from behind the speakers, so.
Actually, it's pretty cool.
All right, cool. It's not the cable. It's the guitar. It just came back from drinking in Mexico for 5 days. It doesn't want to work today. Guitar's got a bigger buzz than I do. But you know, as often happens in our lives sometimes, when a major event happens, we tend to stop and reflect about things. And my friend Aaron Schurz and I were getting together 2 weeks after in September, because we lost Jimmy in Labor Day weekend of 2023. No, I'm sorry, 24. Yeah, and so we were getting together the next weekend to write. No, it was 23. And of course, we were like, well, you know, maybe, I mean, it's still fresh and stuff. Maybe we should do something to, you know, pay honor to Jimmy, or respect thing. And he was like, well, do you have any ideas? And I said, well, you know, I've always thought of a concept in life of what if we lived in a world where our clocks ran backward instead of forward? Now, in other words, what if the day you were born, you were given your death date? What if all of us knew the time and the hour and the moment that we would die? And just changing that one little bit of information, think about how differently we would live things, how different this world would be. You know, all the folks that sit in traffic down the road in LA every single day of their lives to go to some job they hate, to put up with all this crap. It's, bad relationships, you know, not getting out and living. What's that?
My father works in LA.
Your dad was, so he knows exactly what I'm talking about, dealing with all that traffic and crap. You know, I mean, think about it. Would you put off those trips? One of these days I'm going to move out to California. One of these days I'm going to go to Belize. One of these days. Man, if every single second was ticking down, wouldn't you think about things a little differently? So that's kind of the idea behind this one. It's called Hourglass, and we did take the whole second verse and try to tribute Jimmy. So for my parrot heads out there, you'll catch there's a lot of nuances in Jimmy's words and music that we put to it. But I hope this one gives you a little inspiration. This one's called Hourglass. We come in this world not knowing how long we get to stay, and taking for granted the moments as if we had 1,000,000 days. But what if the hands of time turn the other way around? instead of adding up at the start of us. What if they counted down? And all the seconds that we waste, oh, how much would they mean? Yeah, I wonder what would change. Probably only everything. So here's to the time that we've got left, to living each day with no regrets, to the best of whatever breaths that we still have, to making the most of the sand in the hourglass. I heard those words from a jolly man, and he said the time is now. And like the sun he disappeared, but he left the seas well plowed. He said if you're ever out in the eye of a storm, keep one hand on the rail, 'cause some of it's tragic, but most of it's magic. So tell all the stories you can tell. And when I fade away and my hair's gone gray and I can't run very long, I'll raise a glass and say, Merofa Tehane. I'll see you when my sand is gone. It's like I can hear him sing. Go take the time that you've got left and live every day with no regrets. Make the best of every single breath that you still have. Take your time and take it all in. We don't get to ride this ride again. So chase the wind, follow your dreams, and ride the mast. Go make the most of the sand in your hourglass. Thank you so much. So I learned a lesson a long time ago as a songwriter. Very valuable lesson. If you're going to make them cry and think, you better come back and make them laugh real quick. Turn into one of those wrist-slitting shows. We don't need any of that so far. I've played thousands of shows for thousands of wonderful people, and I haven't lost anybody yet. So, so this is my favorite question to ask of the whole show. And every show it's different. I'm finding more and more that I'm getting a lot more hands going up these days with our fan in our age group. So how many of you guys are retired and you made it to the finish line and you don't? We could do this show on a Monday afternoon and it wouldn't matter shit to you. Isn't that awesome? Doesn't it feel great? You worked hard. You realized the dream. Congratulations, guys. It's a big deal for those of us who are still out here in the working world. You know. It's like it's getting harder and harder. That dream is getting further and further out of reach. But I have learned a lot. You know, Melissa and I are on the road 250 days a year, give or take, playing shows all over the United States, Mexico, and belize. And a lot of our fans are retired. And I'm watching you guys. I'm learning from y'all. You know, I realize it takes a lot of planning. You know, you don't just wake up one day and you're retired. That's homeless. There's a difference. There's a lot of retired guys down on Skid Row about 2 hours from here, but that's not the retired I'm looking for. But I realized there's a lot of planning involved. You got to plan, you got to spend your money, invest your money, where you're going to live to make the most of your money, all this planning. But I've learned from watching you guys, the one thing that none of you planned for is how much time you now spend together versus the old days, you know, when you go to work and she go to work for 8-10 hours a day and you got time apart to miss each other and you get back together and, you know, how was your day, honey? You got shit to talk about. And now everything happens to both of you at the same time, every minute of every hour of every day, all year long. And I had a buddy of mine saying, I love my wife, I sure do. We've been married for something like 65 years and we've been retired for like 20 years. And he said, I told her the other day, honey, I love you, but how can I miss you if you won't go away? Don't ever give a songwriter a line like that. It will definitely be a song, that's for sure. I wrote this little song all about me and you. Now you might not want to hear it, but I swear every word is true. I love you in the morning when when your hair's all a mess. And I love you in the evening when you're slipping off your dress. I love you in the sunshine and when the rain's pouring. Hell, I can't wait till tomorrow so I can love you tomorrow morning. I love you more than chocolate and I love you more than cheese. But honey, the only time we ain't together is when I go to pee. How am I gonna miss you if you never go away? You'd think that I would turn and run, but I'm tired, so I just stay. Now, I love pizza, but I don't want it every day. How am I gonna miss you if you never go away? Well, ladies, don't worry, because it was about this time she looked at him with them beady little eyes. She said, oh, you think you're cute, don't you? She said, two can play that game. She said, I love you in November, and I love you in the spring. And I love you in September, and every minute in between. It's like we've been together for 1,000,000 years. Cause honey, even my shadow sometimes disappears. How am I gonna miss you if you never go away? You'd think that I would turn and run, but I'm tired, so I just stay. And I love Santa Claus, but who wants Christmas every day? How am I gonna miss you if you never go away? My favorite part of playing this song live is watching the reactions of all you guys looking at each other, pointing at each other. I think I might have struck a chord with this one. Now, please don't think I'm being mean, and please don't think I'm wrong, cause I love you every loving minute of this mother-loving song. I love it when you're with me, and I love the things you say. We're just like two old lovebirds, but even birds migrate. And I hope we die together, but if you should die before, hell, I'll probably dig you up so I could love you a little more. I love you in the winter when them snowflakes start to fall. I'm not saying that this is prison, cause even prisoners get a little time off. How am I gonna miss you if you never go away? Honey, I love you like a fat kid loves eating chocolate cake. I can't wait to go to heaven. Hell, I just might go today. How am I gonna miss you if you never go away? What would life be like without you? Hell, I really couldn't say. How am I gonna miss you if you never go away? Thank you very much. I know it's going to be some of your favorite song now.
Especially when you work with your wife.
That's it.
Can you say this is on iTunes?
Unfortunately, I have not recorded that one yet, but I'm going to get in the studio here probably in a month or so and get some of this new stuff out. Melissa and I just got married, actually, in January. Thank you. It only took me 11 years to pass her tests, so. But we did it down in Belize at our event that we do in Belize. We call it the Meeting of the Mayans. There is the Meeting of the Minds, which is in October, and that's a big deal, but the Meeting of the Mayans is our event, and we called it that because, well, it's a foreign country. They can't sue me, so. No, I'm just kidding. But it's a fun event, though. We take about, God, we had over 600 people this year, and we're probably going to be over 1,000 next year because it keeps doubling every year. This will be our 4th year of doing it. And basically, our deal is you get yourself to Belize City Airport, and we handle it from there. You know, we book your hop flight over, we book your golf cart, your hotel, everything. We plan out the whole thing. We do bouncing around the island to all these different cool bars and different cool spots and beautiful places. Just honestly, your hardest decision of the day is where you're going to eat. I mean, everything else is pretty much taken care of. And so, our friend Kelly McGuire, who a few of you raised your hand and said you were here, you got to meet Kelly. He's the guy that brought us down there for the first time in 2018. And just one of those places, I mean, you guys probably travel a lot, you know, being this close to LAX, you got a nonstop to everywhere. You know, you ever get one of those places in life, maybe it's here in Tehachapi for you, where you just go, yeah, this feels like home. This feels like the spot. And you can go to, there's plenty of beautiful places in this world, but if you find that one that just hits you, that's the one you want to stay in. And that's got what Hamburger's Key has been for me. I feel like Jimmy Buffett must have felt when he found Key West back in the 70s. You know, it's just kind of that vibe. Anyway, this was the first song that I ever wrote after finding the island. And to give you a little history lesson, the island itself is about maybe a mile and a half wide at its widest point. Most of it's 200 or 300 yards wide. It's a small barrier island, but it's about 30 miles north and south. So it's a long barrier island. And there's only one road, and it runs right down the middle of the island. So when you go out and get drunk at the bar, if you find the ocean, you just remember, do you need to go right or left? It's really simple to find your way around. And so you fly into Belize City Airport, the big airport. They do have nonstops from LAX, actually, so it helps. I think it's about a 3.5 hour flight for you guys. And you get off the big plane, and it's about 4 little stalls. It's a really small little airport. You go through customs, and then you come out and you get on what we call the hop flight, which is a little 15-seater Cessna, single engine. And most of us have never been on those kind of planes. It's something that small. So instantly you just feel like you're in this adventure novel. It feels like, man, I'm going back in time to this exotic place. And it kind of sets the tone for the whole trip. Because it truly is like going back in time, you know. Very much the America that we grew up in, you know, when things are simple and people were just good. And, well, seems to be anyway. I think they're doing it better down there, though. I really do. Like, they had black Belizeans and brown Belizeans and cream color Belizeans and yellow Belizeans, and they're all just Belizean. They grew up together in the same villages. They don't see race and color and division the way we've been taught to do it in America, and it's just a beautiful thing to witness. They're kind of our long lost cousins. You know, all of our people left the same places 200 years ago, and theirs landed there and ours landed here. And I think in a lot of ways they're doing it better. So anyway, this one right here is an area on the island called Tranquility Bay. And I could sit here and describe it for you for another 10 minutes, or I could just play the song and try to take you there. So if you want to close your eyes and imagine the most picture-perfect postcard, tranquil place you can ever imagine, I'll take you there right now. 200 yards or so off the reef, 2 pina coladas cost me 20 beliefs. Nothing to do and I've got nowhere to be today. Well, okay. I've been running away from all the madness back home. Now the tackle box sea bar is where I belong. Watching the bait fish, writing this song, wasting another day. Down here on Tranquility Bay, I took a 2-hour flight. Now it feels like I'm a million miles away. With that turquoise water soaking up the sun, I'm working my way through this coconut run from an old wooden deck chair just off the edge of the shade. I found heaven on earth. Tranquility Bay. I met a new friend, Roberto. You'd swear he's a local, but he comes from Toronto, says it's -0. He showed me a couple new tricks for hooking a bonefish today. He says, friend, there's some things that just can't be described, like that sun setting over San Pedro tonight. It's one of those things that comes once in a life, but down here, it's just a Tuesday night. Down here on Tranquility Bay, I took a 2-hour flight. Now it feels like I'm a million miles away. With that turquoise water soaking up the sun, I'm working my way through this coconut run from an old wooden deck chair just off the edge of the shade. I found heaven on earth. Tranquility Bay, where the time just slips away. And if you listen close, you'll hear the ghost ghosts of the Mayan spirits say, what would all of the gold in the world be worth if today was your last day? 200 yards or so off the reef, if you're looking for answers or maybe some peace. Now there's gonna be a few bumps along the way, but if you take your time, only a lucky few find it. There's an old wooden deck chair just off the edge of the shade. You'll see a hand-painted sign that guides you along your way to Tranquility Bay. Tranquility Bay, where the time just slips away. Man, I wanna go back there today. Welcome back. How was your trip? It's like musical weed. Just put you right where you need to be. Yeah, it's funny, you know, in the touring that Melissa and I do, like I said, we basically started about 2 weeks ago, and we're going to be out on and off until beginning of November, and our trip takes us all over the country. And these songs, I've learned, they tend to go over better in like the northern, colder, yuck places, you know, like Minnesota and Ohio, you know. You guys kind of already live in paradise out here. It's kind of hard to sing songs about one paradise to a group that live in another paradise and make it entice you to actually want to go to these places. But if you do, it really is life-changing down there. So it's just a beautiful place. And the sad thing is, for those of us who have found it, you know, we can tell it's not long before there'll be a Margaritaville and they've already got one way up north, you know, and the Marriotts and the Hiltons will find it, and they'll find a way to change everything. And, you know, we'll screw it up because that's what we do. But it is still in a beautiful, pristine state right now. So you got to hurry up and get down there and see it, because there are some places left like that. I say to folks who live 2 hours from LAX and yet it feels like I'm on another planet up here. Maybe you don't even leave here. Just stay here. This is a beautiful bubble you guys live in. No place to get, no reason to go anywhere else.
No
The rest of the
ocean.
world's falling apart out there. You don't want to see it.
There's no ocean here.
Well, you're what, 2 hours from the ocean? Two and a half?
Pacific?
Yeah, that's true. It is cold. Yeah, you can't go sleep. Well, it's beautiful, but yeah, the Caribbean, I mean, it's got that turquoise and 1,000 shades of blue. So when we're on the island, this is a new one. I just wrote this one not too long ago. For those of you guys who've been, did you take the day trip over to Caulker? Jump on? Yes. Isn't it amazing to get away?
Yeah.
So as amazing as Ambergris Key is, after you've been there for a few days or maybe a week or so, it does start to feel a little claustrophobic because it has been found. So there's a lot of golf carts. That's how we get around is on golf carts. And there's golf carts everywhere and bicycles everywhere and cars and, you know, not big trucks, but trucks. And there's a lot of activity. And so once the newness is kind of worn off, you sort of get that need for I just need another island. The cool thing is there's this little neighbor, a cousin island, that's about a 30-minute boat ride away, and it's called Caulker. And if San Pedro is America 40 years ago, then Caulker is America 100 years ago. It is super slow pace. They got a couple of bars on the island. Everybody walks around on their bicycles. They don't have any cars and stuff like that. And it's just a really cool vibe to go back in time, and some of the most absolute breathtaking water you've ever seen in your life. Absolute perfect shades of blue and turquoise. And you know, so the best thing to do for Caulker is on our trip we take it on Thursday, but we'll load everybody up on a boat and we just go over for the day, and it's a perfect day trip because you just you can breathe. You know, there's not people everywhere and stuff everywhere, and it's just nature at its finest. I thought I'm going to try to write a song about a day trip to Caulker, so I can take all of you guys there who haven't been, and then for those of us who have, take you on a little trip down memory lane. Did you ever meet Chef Kareem there that sells the lobsters on the? So you can walk down the street, and they literally take the Caribbean lobsters out of the cooler while they're alive. They chop them in half with a machete and throw them right on the grill. They're still wiggling when they're on the grill. That's how fresh the lobster is. Now, if you're an animal lover, that probably makes you very sad, but we're going to eat him anyway, so, you know.
I'm okay with that.
I mean, he's got to die somehow, right? You know, the thing I think we tend to forget as human beings is we're the only ones that politely kill an animal before we eat it. Other animals just eat other animals alive. Like, we're not that bad. On a Caulker afternoon, sunshine and blue water, a little place to unwind down by the sea. Things are moving fast these days, and I know these days won't last someday. So when I need a throwback to yesterday, that's where you'll find me. Where the sun always shines, and you're encouraged to waste your time. Where the spirit of days gone by is still alive and well. Grab a boat load of friends, take a stroll, have a swim, lose your soul in that blue water. Down on Caulker. Now the first step you take off the boat, take it slow like you got nowhere to go to be. Then park it up down at the Lizard for a rip or maybe two. I'll probably have about 3. Just a little stroll down the old dirt roads where you go to find Chef Kareem. Just follow your nose and you'll know where to go for the lobster. So cheap it's almost free. Whatever you do, don't hurry, 'cause life ain't gonna get in the way. And when the sun hits the water over at the iguana, raise your glass to another day. When the sun always shines, and you're encouraged to waste your time. Where the spirit of days gone by is still alive and well. Grab a boatload of friends, take a stroll, have a swim, lose your soul in that blue water. Down on Caulker. Now when the daylight fades into a Caribbean sky full of stars, and the lights of San Pedro are calling you home, leave a little piece of your heart where the sun always shines, and the folks there waste their time. Where the people of days gone by are still alive and well. I'll take a boatload of friends, grab a stroll, have a swim, lose your soul in that blue water. Down on Caulker. Oh, I can almost smell the lobster now. You know, right now they're probably just sitting down there doing absolutely nothing at all. And it means everything in the world. Makes for a great day of doing nothing. Yeah, the drink down there, the big drink of the islands is called the Panty Ripper. Yeah, that's why they say it with their accent. It sounds a lot cooler with their accent than some Tennessee boy trying to do a Belizean accent in Southern California. But yeah, they call it the Panty Ripper, and then they have the rum punch, and that's all you need. That is it. Down there, the ice is the most expensive thing. The rum is cheaper than the ice, and the mixer is cheaper than that. So you get like that much rum, a little shot of mixer, and 1 cube of ice. That's all you need. You're fine. After about 3 of them, you can't taste it anyway. Yeah, I'm not stumbling. This is how I dance. All right, you guys want to stay in Belize or go somewhere else?
Up to you, man.
Stay in Belize?
You choose.
All right, let's see. Let's stay in Belize for one more, and then we'll take a stroll up to Mexico for a while. So this is probably the second song I wrote there. And speaking of rum punch, I was rum punch drunk one afternoon. My favorite part of the whole thing has got to be the golf carts, because when you land in the big airport, I was telling you earlier, you walk out, you get on your hop flight, and they take you over. It's about a 15-minute flight over to the island. Oh, this gorgeous water. And you come into the island, and it's just a single little strip runway. It's not a dirt runway, but it might as well be. It's just a little single strip, and you land, boom. And then all of a sudden, they come out with your golf cart. You walk off your plane, you grab your bag, and you can jump on your golf cart and proceed to spend the next week drunk as hell, driving this golf cart all over the place, having a blast. Nobody cares. Don't be stupid, but nobody cares, As an example, my friend from Montana was down there. He's a big old dude. He's driving down the road and chugging his beer, and then the motorcycle cop, now it's like dirt bikes, not big bikes, but the motorcycle cop passes, and of course he pulls him over, he's chugging a beer. He says, listen, man, you're making it way too easy for me, and I don't want to hassle you, and you don't want to be hassled. You're down here on vacation, so here's what you do. He said, just take your big drink, don't do it while I'm passing you, take your big drink and put it back in the passenger side, and then when we see you riding down the road with a drink in the passenger side, we'll just assume that you dropped the passenger off and they left their drink behind. The cop is telling him how to get away with the DUI. This is the mentality of the Belizean people. No offense, but it couldn't be further from the California Highway Patrol. I'm sure they're not going to pull that. Pretty much, I think I've become the American ambassador over there. I'm going to get a cut of everybody that moves there. That's how it works. But yeah, he was doing that, and I just thought, man, what a cool thing. So we're riding down the road on the golf carts, and I've learned that the golf cart's life, it's just a slower paced life, and it's perfect for the island, and it just puts everybody in the right frame of mind. You're wide open, so you get the breeze to you, and you're just like, you're not never in a hurry to get anywhere on a golf cart. You take your time. People are nicer. They stop and talk to each other. You don't want to piss anybody off because they can reach out and punch you. There's nothing to stop them, so it makes people nice. So this one popped out. Me and Melissa were riding around on a golf cart one afternoon, just buzzed out, rum punch drunk, swerving all over the place. I said, I sure do love bopping around on my coconut cart with you. She said, you got to write that one. That's a song. And the funny thing about Belize is, if you just look down, there's songs laying all over the place. You just pick one up and you got a new song. That's how that works. My name is Tom Bodette, and I'll leave a light on for you. It's just another perfect day here in San Pedro, tucked in my hammock, watching the waves roll in. I'm giving life a perfect 10, sitting down in the shade neath the coconut tree, filling my lungs with that Caribbean breeze. Me and my baby and some Pelican beer. Now why would anybody want to ever leave here except to roll downtown on my coconut cart, see what's shaking at Palapa Bar down in Belize? You better believe it, ain't nobody hurries, got no snow flurries, ain't no traffic jams, only island sounds when I'm out making my rounds all over town, bopping around on my coconut cart. There's so much to see, so much to be done when I'm doing nothing at all, just dodging potholes in paradise. We got a little naughty at the crab lab last night. I think it's a Monday. I really can't say. There's only 2 times on the clock, night and day. Okay by me. Everybody be on island time. Man, I don't mind. They're waving their smile. I chat for a while, catch up on the latest who's what's on island. Bobbing around all over town on my coconut car. Let's roll. Have you ever noticed you can't smile and whistle at the same time? We associate whistling with happiness, yet you cannot say it's impossible to smile and whistle at the same time. I'm smiling, I should stop trying to whistle. I meet up with the crew, have a shot or 2, chat it up, catch a buzz, cause that's what we do. Maybe I'll see you over at 303 tonight. We'll all stay drunk until the morning light. I just caught wind, my buddy Norman, he's working on his batch of guacamole again. I gotta get it while I can. It's a lot like sex. You just never know when you're gonna get it next. Grabbing that grilled cheese at Stella's kitchen and say hey to Rafi, he's out there fishing. Chica, his dog, is always in tow. He gets me anything I need and some things I don't. I'm a rum punch drunk, having a ball. Don't leave a message, cause I won't call. Sure is something about this place that makes me want to stay forever. Me and my baby having fun together. One more time, bopping around all over town on my coconut cart. Watch out for that pothole. That's my favorite line for people who've been there. Watch out for the potholes. Watch out for the speed bumps. Those are the worst.
Maybe you should submit that for the Belizean National.
I've got one called I Wasn't Gonna Drink Today, but that's what I always say. That's the Belizean National Anthem, actually.
Wear a sports bra.
Yes, definitely. That's perfect, yes. Ladies, if you go, wear a sports bra. Trust me. They have it, most of it's sand roads and kind of half dirt roads, and so they don't have classic speed bumps as we think of. They just take a big old piece of shipping rope and lay it out across the road. You know, you hit something that big on a golf cart at 10 miles an hour, you'll remember where it is the next time. I guarantee that. It only takes one. Wrap them up. It hurts. Well, let's see. Hey, Cliff, Karen, has Sonny Jim played here yet? Really? We got to get him up here. I mean, it's a sunshine state, right? We got to get him out here. Maybe.
Graduated from Bakersfield High School.
Did he really?
Yes.
Boy, he gets around, doesn't he? I just found out at Lone Star Luau that he was born in San Antonio, Texas. I didn't even know that. He went to Bakersfield. Well, my goodness, we got to get him up here and play. So our friend Sonny Jim is, he plays with Kelly McGuire a lot, and Mark Mulligan that was just mentioned, and a fantastic, amazing musician. And this is a song that he does, and I've just always loved it. So we'll switch gears for a moment. I don't have a lot of love songs or sad love songs or anything. I don't think this is a sad love song, but I love the song. So. One Christmas, I bought her a painting, and she gave me a Mexican ring. I taught her a song on my old stick string guitar, but I never could teach her to sing. It's too late to go back, she's gone, and anyway, I don't even know where to write. Stones falling out of my Mexican ring, and I wonder where she is tonight. She used to sleep on my She said my beard tickled her face. If I didn't know better, I'd swear she's still here, 'cause I can feel her all over the place. It's too late to go back, she's gone, and anyway, I don't even know where to ride. The stones falling out of my Mexican ring, and I wonder where she is tonight. It's too late to go back, she's gone, and anyway, I don't even know where to ride. The stones fall now of my Mexican ring, and I wonder where she is tonight. On Christmas, I bought her a painting. She gave me a Mexican ring. I taught her a song on my old 6-string guitar, but I never could teach her to sing. Everybody sing it. We gotta get him out here. That's what we have to do. Well, I do have a little Mexico on the mind, considering we just spent the last week and a half down there. So most of my San Diego folks, they just run down there on a daily basis. You guys have got a little bit of a drive. So do you all go down often at all, living this close to Mexico, or do you listen to the news? Oh, you must be the ones that listen to the news. Don't be afraid. It's a wonderful place. You know what? If the news reported, the national news every day on all the bad shit that happens right down the road on any given block, you'd be scared to death to drive through LA, wouldn't you? Well, you're probably scared to death to drive through LA anyway. I know I am.
I'd rather go to Mexico than LA.
Yeah, exactly. I feel much safer in Mexico than I do in LA, that's for sure. Well, we just got back and we had a wonderful trip. And one of my favorite things about going down to, small town Mexico, you go to tourist Mexico, it's all the same, but small towns like San Felipe and Rocky Point, and even further down in San Carlos, Mexico, where Mark Mulligan's from. I love going to those areas because it just, a lot like Belize, it's a simpler life. It's a simpler time. The people are 99% wonderful. And what it's taught me in all of our travels, and Melissa and I have been blessed to, we've gone through 48 countries, I think all 50 states and about 48 countries through music in our time. And I got to tell you, we've been to the far reaches of Egypt and to Cuba and all these places in the world, and I've learned the most valuable lesson I can possibly teach you from someone who's traveled. We're all doing the same shit. We're not different. They like to make us think we are. They like to divide us and keep us fighting amongst each other, so we don't realize what the real problem is. But we're all doing the same stuff, and I think when you get outside of our bubble and you go to places like scary Mexico that you might get kidnapped and all that bullshit, you realize a lot of it's just scare tactics, and there's a lot of good people in this world, and if you get out and see that, it expands your mind and your horizon to realize life is short. Life is so short. We just want to get through this thing and enjoy it. So one of my favorite things of doing is every morning I'm sitting down there, this past week too, is I'm sitting, I have my morning coffee, and I try to spot the Ponga boat guy, Jose, out there somewhere. Jose B or Jose C, but Jose's out there in his boat every morning, and I see him rowing out and catching some fish, and about 11 o'clock or so, he's done for the day. He rows back in, and I imagine he sells a couple of fish at the market to feed his family for the week, takes a couple of fish home to the family. He parks it up at the bar by noon. He's sitting there all afternoon having a blast with his friends, drinking cervezas and shooting tequila, and wakes up the next day and does it all over again. Can you imagine being Jose? Look at all of us. Well, these Americans, I don't know what their problem is. They work their whole lives to build up all this stuff, and they have stuff and stuff. Then they get to the end of it and they lose all their stuff. All their stuff gets taken away, or they have to sell their stuff, They got no more stuff, and then they come down here and they do the exact same thing I've been doing my whole life. They just hang out and fish every day. Yeah, maybe we're not the ones that got it figured out. I tell you one thing, it's definitely not about stuff. I know that much. I have never seen a hearse with a trailer hitch. That should tell you something right there. It was early one morning, Playa del Carmen. That's where I first met Jose. He had a 12-foot schooner and a 3-foot cooler full of the catch of the day. His face was wrinkled and grinning from all the sun he had been in. He was barefoot, cerveza in hand. He said, "Gracias, senor," when I paid him too much for all of the snapper he had. I told him, "My friend, it ain't nothing," in the best broken Spanish I knew. I said, "I make a good living back home where I'm from." He smiled, said, "Amigo, me too." I fish, I play my guitar, I laugh at the bar with my friends. I go home to my wife, pray every night I can do it all over again. Well, somewhere over Texas, I thought of my Lexus and all of that stuff I worked so hard for, and all the things I have gathered from climbing that ladder didn't make much sense anymore. They say my nest egg ain't ready to hatch yet. They keep holding my feet to the fire. They call it paying my dues. So one day in life I'll have what I need to retire and just fish and play my guitar, laugh at the bar with my friends, go home to my wife, pray every night I can do it all over again. And to think for a while there that I thought that I had it made. Man, the truth is I'm really just dying to live like Jose. Just fish and play my guitar down at the bar with my friends, go home to my wife and pray every night I can do it all over again. Just fish, I'll play this old guitar in Cliff and Kara's backyard with my friends, go home to my wife and pray every night I can do it all over again. Man, wouldn't that be the life? Thank you so much. All right, I'm thinking one more and we'll take a little break. Does that sound pretty good to you guys? My whole thing about sitting down for these shows is, what is it?
12 more.
12. Well, I'm going to do another set, but, you know, I've learned by sitting down, you guys are sitting, I'm sitting. It makes for a nice, you know, it's storytelling, right? It would be odd to stand up here and talk as much as I talk. But I've also learned when my ass gets tired of sitting, that means your ass is probably tired too, and it's time for a break. So we got food and alcohol over there we've got to consume. So this one is, I have to be careful where I do this one at. I know you guys, so I know this one's going to be well received, but there are other areas of California that I might get kicked out of the state for this next song. You know, they might string me up to a tree or something. But I know you guys are cool, so we're good. So this one is one, people ask me all the time about my politics, you know, because I'm so deep on all this other stuff, you know, spiritual or whatever. And they're like, well, what's your view on politics? Mike, what do you think of politics? I said, well, do you want Vaseline or do you want it dry? Because you're getting screwed either way. So. It really doesn't matter. It's another divisive tool to keep us apart. But So I was sitting around watching the news. This is back when I used to watch the news. Don't watch the news. That shit's just opinions now. There's no factual anything anymore. In 2008, I was flipping through the channels, and you guys remember the condition of the world in 2008. Things were not too good, you know. It's like the next decade said, hold my beer. I can do it worse. And so I was flipping through the channels, and I was just like, I'm done with this, man. I'll turn this stuff off. I'm going to write a song about taking all the cool people and moving to Mars on a rocket ship and leaving all the assholes down here. And it went over pretty well for a few years, you know, and it kind of died off. And then all of a sudden, a few years ago, I found the need to go back and write an updated verse for an old song because the condition of the modern world is way worse than we ever expected it to be. And I found a lot of people can relate to this one. Doesn't matter what side of the fence you're on, we're all getting screwed, either with Vaseline or getting dry. Either way. So this is called Rocketship. I will let you know when I get to the point in the song where it modernizes, but keep in mind the first half of this song was written in 2008. So 80% of it is still accurate today. That's how little things have really changed. I think this is Cliff's favorite song, actually. He's building a plane, which is kind of like a rocket ship, sort of the same. I'm tired of residing in this crazy place. I'm building a rocket ship and flying to space. Leave it behind as I head for the stars. Soon as I find my way out of this bar. The ozone's burning, my air ain't clean. Beer is now cheaper than gasoline. Got earthquakes, wildfires, tsunamis, and mudslides. Here comes an asteroid, we're all gonna die. Yeah, we're globally warming and the temperature's rising. We got Big Macs, heart attacks, and supersizing. I got chemically engineered food on my plate. I'm getting the hell out before it's too late. I'm fighting to hang on to my sanity in a world that's lost its mind. So I'm building a rocket ship and moving to Mars. I'm leaving it all behind. Repent for your sins, says the pedophile priest. Jesus forgives you for a nominal fee. We got gunslinging, gang-banging 10-year-old kids, and we got 60-year-old women with silicone tits. There's ground-to-air missiles, there's eyes in the sky. The wages are low and the price is too high. We got Islamic terrorists, roadside bombs, internet predators, and 12-year-old moms. We got pills to tune out, we got pills to tune in. We got pills to give old dudes a stiffy again. They're locking them up now for smoking a weed. But if a glove don't fit, man, they're setting them free. I'm fighting to hang on to my sanity in a world that's lost its mind. So I'm building a rocket ship and moving to Mars. I'm leaving it all behind. Well, my mailbox is empty, my hard drive's trashed, my global position and network crashed, my cholesterol high, my blood sugar's low. I'm dying of everything, the doctor said so. Yeah, my therapist said my situation looks grim. I got OCD and DVD and IBM. I got ADD and AOL and MTV. I'm telling you what, Tehachapi, California sucks to be me. I'm fighting to hang on to my sanity in a world that's lost its mind. So I'm building a rocket ship and moving to Mars. I'm leaving it all behind. Alright, so that is where the original ending of the song used to be at. As I said, it was written in 2008, so, you know, like roadside bombs and internet predators aren't the thing now, but, you know, it used to be. It's always something. And I was sitting around a few years ago, it's like, man, this song is screaming for a modern verse in today's world. You know, I don't know if you guys were around for this. God, wow, it's been 5 years ago now, but were you guys around for this when this terrible disease took over the world called stupidity? Were you around for that? I can only imagine having to deal with that. At least you guys are way out here, though. You can probably avoid a lot of the stupidity out here, I'd say. The stupid people have a hard time finding their way here because, you know, this isn't exactly easy to find if you don't know where you're going. So you guys are pretty safe. Congratulations. The rest of us are screwed. All of those Californians have moved out to Tennessee and they're running the property values sky high for all the rest of us. Thanks a lot for getting rid of your garbage on us. Appreciate it. It's actually turned California amazing again. You guys have your state back. Congratulations. Now, anyway, so I was sitting around in Belize on a bar stool with my buddy one afternoon, and I was chatting with him about my idea to do an updated verse for this song. And he says, well, what are you going to write it about? I'm like, man, I don't even... How can you sum up everything wrong with the modern world in one verse of a song? That's pretty much impossible to do. So I'm like, I think I need to narrow it down to a single subject matter. And I feel like there's a lot more stupid people than there used to be. For one reason or another, he said, well, I think I can help you with your song. I said, okay, what do you got? He said, well, you know, I went and I visited your country one time. I went to the state of Florida. He said, I was amazed by how much it looked like Belize. You know, you got the mangrove and you got the ocean and the islands, and it looked a lot like home. It's like, yeah. He said, you know, they've got alligators. We've got crocodiles. It's the same kind of thing. I was like, yeah. He said, the thing that perplexed me, though, in your country is where the alligators were. They had all these signs that said, do not swim with alligators. He was like, we don't have signs that say do not swim with crocodiles. People just know not to swim with crocodiles. I'm like, yeah, I kind of get what you're saying. I don't have an answer for you, but you got me on that. He said, yeah, I went back to my hotel and checked out my hair dryer. I was getting ready to dry my hair, and I looked at it, it had this little sticker on it. I said, what is that? And he picked it up. He said, it said, do not use in bathtub. He said, Mike, do people in your country not know these things? They have to be told. He said, I saw a car battery. It had a sticker on it. It said, do not drink battery acid. He was very complexed by this. He was like, I don't understand it. Here we have common sense. We know these things. We don't need to be told these things. And I said, well, there you go, buddy. That's the problem. Common sense is no longer common in our country, unfortunately. We've gotten rid of that. There's still some of us that have it. We don't need to be told that shit, but others do. And I said, there's the problem right there. You nailed it. It's all the stickers and the signs and the warning labels and the stuff that... You know what we've done with those? We've inadvertently kept stupid people alive. When they used to go swim with crocodiles and drink battery acid and drink bleach and stupid shit, they would die off. That's why we didn't have as many of them back then. That's why they're everywhere now. And you know what? We've kept them alive long enough to reproduce also. What do you think they reproduce? More stupid people. There you go. I had figured out the solution to the problem. Get rid of the signs, get rid of the stickers, we'll get rid of the stupid people. In one generation, we'll have our world back. It'll be easy. There'll still be a few of them. They'll probably be running for office somewhere, but it won't matter because the rest of us can enjoy our lives again without all the mess. So, if you are easily offended, you probably should not have stayed this long in the song. So the fact that you're not throwing shit at me right now makes me feel like I have made the right choice, and I'm playing this for the right California this afternoon. Thank you very much. Well, the bad news is the stupid folks had little boys and girls. They multiplied by the millions, and they're taking over the world. We got pronouns and acronyms and snowflakes and fake news, but nobody knows which idiot to vote for or which bathroom they should use. Now, on the bright side, at least for a few months, gas was cheaper than beer, because we were all tick-tocking in our safe space for 2 goddamn years. They masked us and vaxxed us and poked our brains with Q-tips. We got smartphones and smart houses, but the world's dumber than shit. I love to leave it behind as I head for the stars. And I can't even figure out how to start one of those self-driving cars. There's nowhere left to run. There's nowhere left to hide. The whole world's gone crazy, y'all. They're eating pods of time. So I'll just head to the bar and I'll leave it behind. Go build your own damn rocket ship and get off of mine. From the Gulf of Mexico. Thank you so much. Yeah, I do think it's screaming for another verse too. It's time to go write a few more for that one. So, well, guys, thanks so much for putting up with me. It's all in good fun. And move around. There is food inside if you didn't know it. There's bathrooms inside, alcohol out there. Make yourselves at home. Come up and say hi. I'm sorry?
The more you write that song out, the better.
Oh, I'm telling you, I think it's going to be like a 20-minute song one of these days. It already is. It's going to be 30 minutes. And if you have any money burning a hole in your pocket, please see Melissa over there. She'll be happy to get rid of it for you. And she might even give you a shirt with my picture on it or something. Or an Hourglass shirt. Thanks so much for spending your Saturday afternoon with me, guys. I'll be back here in about 15. We'll do it all again. Thanks.
Yeah, wasn't it great?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you want?
Said, I see your house has been on the market more than the other.
So now he's up to other kinds of.
Yeah.
Remember when he was changing the APNs and then renewing them?
Well, yeah, so I mean, now it's just like no one's going to like do anything. So I might as well just.
They said wait till I start playing. Yeah, that one on 16th, it was verification of employment, 3.5 down, no income docs required. Yeah. She's getting the whole 3% commission from the buyers, and she's having another agent. Oh, well, first of all, it's not 3%, it's 2. You know, does she not have enough money? Shoot, forget about you.
I was looking at that mountain. I was thinking, 100 years ago, our ancestors looked at that and they said, yeah, I'll walk across that and see what's on the other side. Oh, that's what I need, more rum. I took an allergy pill earlier because I was kind of thinking I was getting sick. It turns out it was just allergy. I'll tell you what, a great buzz is an allergy pill and a couple of shots of that rum. It takes it to a whole other level.
Really high.
Yes, thank you. I'm not going to do it right now at this moment or I won't be able to sing. But I can set it right.
He was just gonna leave it there so he could sing.
Keep it safe, I think.
Yeah, he's got like a little tiny shop glass.
Oh,
holder.
Perfect. A little shot glass holder.
That's awesome.
Cliff, your friend, and I'm sorry I didn't catch your name, but Doug. All right, so I'm gonna do this one for Doug because Doug was telling me on the break. He lived in the great city of New Orleans back in the 70s. Back when it must have been one hell of a place to be.
Goes to New Orleans.
Now, did they have a lot of ghosts around back then
Always.
in New Orleans? No.
I was a Yankee. I didn't.
Ah, well they had a lot of spirits though. I'm sure you probably drank most of those, didn't you? Well, this is about these spirits that you can't drink. This is called Ghost of New Orleans. Hurricanes and Zydeco, tarot cards have Marie Laveau's, Creole sin and voodoo in the air. Our first night in the quarter, we fell underneath its spell. We were young and love without a care. The next morning at Cafe du Monde, she said, let me read your palm. And with my hand in hers, she said, they say that when you leave this life, you spend eternity in the place where you were happiest. If that's so, then I know I'll be walking somewhere in between Jackson Square and Bourbon Street, holding your hand, and we'll live it all again, wandering among the ghosts of New Orleans. Streetcars on Carondelet woke us on the day we left, and the sidewalk fortune teller wished us well. over time the magic fades and people go their separate ways, and in the end she married someone else. Yeah, I think of her from time to time, and I've heard that she's doing fine, but I wonder, is it wrong to hope she's right about how they say that when you leave this life you spend eternity in the place where you were happiest? If that's so, then I know I'll be walking somewhere in between Jackson Square and Bourbon Street, holding her hand, and we'll live it all again, wandering among the ghosts of New Orleans. As I step into the light, I see her on the other side. We're young again and she's got that sundress on. She's standing on the corner as I move a little closer. She smiles and says, "What took you so long?" And then we're walking somewhere in between Jackson Square and Bourbon Street, and I'm holding her hand, and we live it all again, wandering among the ghosts of New Orleans. Oh, New Orleans.
Feels good, actually.
Great city that is. That is. A lot of spirit there. A lot of spirits can be drank, a lot of spirits cannot. It is definitely one of the most cultured cities, I think, in our whole country. A lot of great things have come out of that place. Well, I'm drinking now, so yeah. That little bout of, oh, I think I'm not feeling too good, certainly went away with your shot of rum. I
There we
appreciate
go,
it.
man.
Rum will do
What
it.
was it again? It was Jamaican rum, right?
Jamaican rum, yes.
All right, what name of it?
Appleton?
Appleton.
Appleton. Ooh, Appleton. Yeah, that is
Yeah.
a nice brand.
Snuck it home from
In
our
Belize, they have a big titty rum. No, seriously, it comes in a big bottle and it's got a big Malaysian lady on the front. And it's called Big Titty Rum.
That's what I call my
That's a
wife.
way better story.
Perhaps. Now that I know I have my
Don't
right
say
crowd here, and I was reminded on the break too that, you wouldn't live in this part of California by accident. I can't imagine. You're here because this is where you fit. And it's long. I love that. I'm also reminded from the first time I came here a few years ago how close we are to the Bakersfield, the scene. I mean, like, I'm a country music fan. I grew up in Nashville, but that Bakersfield sound, man, that shaped a lot of country music. So there's a lot more country. You guys are a great example. We all like to cut on the California, when we're out in the world, it's the news stuff. But I tell people all the time in other places that don't know and they haven't been here, I'm like, guys, 98% of California is rural farmland. It's ranchers and farmers and country folks and just the salt of the earth. There's like one or two cities that screw everything up.
Those salty cowboys.
And so I try to educate them and let them know, look, go out there and see places like Tehachapi, come to these places. I mean, even San Diego, I'll tell you what, it might be a big city by our standards. By your standards, it's one of the smallest in the state, but that's a place I could see myself living if I ever moved up to California. And the problem is I don't make $12 million a year, so I can't afford to live out here with you
If
guys.
you're going to be homeless, you can be in the city.
I mean, if you're going to be homeless, that's a good place to do it, You can run down to Mexico in 15 minutes, get yourself some tacos for $1.
Just come
All right, I got a
visit
few
us.
requests for the second set, so I'm going to try to get to them. Daryl, right?
Ilif, yeah. But
Ilif.
yeah.
I'm sorry, I thought that was-
I wrote under a different name, but yeah.
Aha, okay.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
So the last time I was here, we were chatting. He was writing a book.
Yeah, I wrote under my middle name, yeah.
He wrote it under his
My middle name,
pseudonym
yeah.
or your middle name.
Yeah,
Okay.
my middle name, yeah.
Okay. And he gave me a copy of the book, and he said that one of the verses in the book was inspired in somewhat, or this next verse of the song reminded you of a chapter in the book, correct?
Yeah, there was a relationship. A couple of the characters in the book were inspired by one of your songs.
Okay, that's what it was. So in his book, and he reminded me today. He's like, "Did you read the book?" I was like, "Shit, no, I didn't." No. But he gave me a card of the book, and as soon as I saw it, I'm like, "Oh, that's the book. That's where I got it from." Because I've had this book at home. I'm not a big reader. I should be. I would learn some better words than the same ones I always use. But yeah, so I was like, me and Melissa, we were going through all this stuff like maybe a month ago. We were home, and I just remember seeing that book, and I know somebody gave this to us on the road. I just can't remember where. So now I have to go home and read the book.
Right.
This is too much of a sign for me not to. But anyway, he said this one inspired a verse in the book, which I think is kind of cool. So this is one of the very first songs I remember writing when I was in my young 20s, mid 20s, and I was going through my first divorce. And like, these different forks in the road of all of our lives along the way, we all tend to hit these splits in the road in life where you're not really sure which direction to go. And you kind of sometimes stop and do a little spiritual inventory, perhaps. I'm going to leave these things behind. I'm going to take these things with me. Check off on this new horizon. And for me, that happened for me when I took off for a weekend by myself to Charleston, South Carolina, which is, for me, in Knoxville, Tennessee, is the closest beach, about a 5-hour drive. And if you've never been to that part of the world, I highly encourage it. Charleston is just one of the oldest American cities that we have, but it's been well preserved. So all the old buildings, the cobblestone streets, the foods, the smells, it's just a really unique place. There's a lot of spirits in that city that you can't drink. And on the way home, having a great spiritual weekend, I stopped at this little roadside restaurant, and I just had dinner. And it's kind of, as sometimes in our lives too, we've had those chance encounters for brief flirtation for a moment with a stranger. Maybe you make eyes, maybe have a little smile, a little something, Nothing happens from it. We move on in our lives, but every now and then you just stop and go, what if? If I'd have asked that girl out on a date, what might have happened? Where might life have gone if I'd have gone down that path? So this is the song that came out of it. I wrote it way back then. I stuck it in a drawer for many years. And on the Stay Thirsty album about 4 years ago, I needed one more ballad for the CD. And I was throwing through some old songs, and this one popped out. And Melissa was actually the one that was like, "Oh, I love that one. That's the song. You gotta put that one." I'm like, but it's about me going out on a date with another girl. You gotta have tough skin to be a musician's girl, that's for sure. This is called Carolina Kind of Love. The name on the tag on the apron she wore said Scarlet. At a rundown cafe somewhere between Charleston and Charlotte. She topped off my cup and gave me a smile, and then asked, "Are you just passing through? We're planning on staying around for a while." I could have come up with a million other things to say, something was telling me, or maybe compelling me to stay. So I took a chance and said I might be planning on staying around for a while. Oh, I swore it was just for the coffee, but the truth is, it was something about her smile. There must be something in the air in Carolina that got the best of me. A breeze blowing on a summer night through the jasmine and the moss hanging off the trees. Must be something in the moon shining on the water, mixing with the stars shining up above. The kind of thing that gets me caught up in a Carolina kind of love. We walked around talking all night under the light of a full moon. Saw grass sway, Cricket sounds playing an old summer night tune. It could have been more than an hour or two, or maybe a couple of miles. Oh, I swore it was just for the talking, but the truth is, it was something about that smile. I fell when the air in Carolina got the best of me. A breeze blowing on the sun, a night through the jasmine, and the moss hanging off the trees. Must be something in the moon shining on the water, mixing with the stars shining up above. The kind of thing that gets me caught up in a Carolina kind of love. All time stood still for a moment, then moments fade away. Yeah, but every now and then she'll still cross my mind. And that little roadside cafe out there where the air in Carolina got the best of me. A breeze blowing on a summer night through the jasmine, and the moss hanging off the trees. Must be something in the moon shining on the water, mixing with the stars shining up above. Kind of thing that gets me caught up in a Carolina kind of love. The name on the tag on the apron she wore said Scott. Thank you, sir.
There we go.
Thanks for being inspired by that. I think it's my first verse in a book, anyway, or chapter in a book or whatever. Cheers, everybody. I got another shot of rum. We'll see where it goes.
Cheers, y'all.
Thanks for coming out to the show today. It may be over. I'm not sure, but we'll see.
Get the flip-flop blitz.
Ah, that'd be a good one. Yeah, I'll pick it up with that one, and then we'll get back to yours, too. I haven't forgot you with it. So, yes, a little toast. You know what? Just to be in all of us, guys, to be alive today. We all woke up. It's going to be a good day.
Yes.
You know, enjoying just a moment in time together as human beings. And that's what it's all about right here. This is what music is supposed to do, bring people together. So thank you guys for being here. Cheers to you.
Cheers, y'all.
Whoa!
That is good stuff, huh?
Cheers to whoever made the rum, too.
That's Jamaican man.
I know what I'll do. I'll chase it with a Crown and Coke. That should fix things up.
There we go, yeah.
That's perfect. That's when you know things are bad, when you're chasing liquor drinks with liquor drinks. It's going to be a long night.
It's the best.
We're going to have to... There's no fire pit, huh? It's going to get cold out here, too, isn't it, Cliff? Yeah. That's all right. We'll just set the... We'll set the inside on fire. So this one was inspired hanging out in Key West. You guys ever been to Key West? I know it's a long way from California. And I was just informed, too, that we're not necessarily in Southern California, but we're not in Central California. It depends on if you're a Dodgers fan or a Giants fan. Yeah. That makes sense to me. Yeah. I can make sense of that. Yeah. Well, I was hanging out in Key West. And speaking of drinking too many shots and chasing it with too much liquor, for most of us, we've had a night or two here and there. We might have had a little too much to drink. And this particular night, I was sitting there, and sometimes in our lives, you know, at the bar or whatever, you're hanging out with your friends. But sometimes you just go in and you just meet a stranger. And then you strike up a conversation, and by the end of the night, you're the best friends in the world, and you're swapping old stories and swapping shots and getting each other's phone numbers. Man, we're going to keep in touch. Oh, we're going to be the best of friends. And the next morning you wake up and you're like, who is Bob from the bar? No memory. You never see each other again for the rest of your lives, you know. But for that one night, you were the best of friends. Well, that was what this Bob guy was like. I don't even know if his name was Bob, to be honest with you. But we had a great time, and by the end of the night, I had found out his story. And he'd come from Colorado, and he'd always heard about this place called Key West. And he said, I just threw caution to the wind, and I jumped on a plane. I came down here to see what it was all about. He said, that was 25 years ago. He said, within 2 days, I knew this was the place for me. As I mentioned earlier, this was my home. This is the place I was born to be. So he said, I did the ballsiest thing in my life ever. I picked up the phone and I called a realtor, and I put my house on the market in Denver. and I called a moving company, and I had them get all my shit and move it down here because I knew if I left the island, life would catch up and I might not find my way back. And so I just made a decision to pull the plug. And I was like, man, there's so many friends that I have that would love to do something like that. That's kind of our dream. I said, 25 years, you got to have some great stories, man. What's one of your favorite things about living down here? And without even batting an eye, without even taking a moment's notice, he was like, oh, that's easy. My favorite thing living in Key West, I don't own shoes. He said, flip-flops. I've owned flip-flops. I've worn flip-flops for 25 years, year-round, every day of the year. And I got to tell you, Mike, I think flip-flops are the secret to life. Now, granted, we had a few shots in us. But, my curiosity was piqued. So I was like, all right, come on, you got to tell me. Give me some examples. He said, well, number one, so when you're wearing flip-flops, you're just going to be feeling good about life because it's probably going to be good weather, right? You're not going to wear flip-flops in freezing cold. So that good weather, the sunshine, it gives you the vitamins and what you need. I'm like, okay, that's cool. He said, number two, it just makes you slow down. You take your time. You're not in a hurry to go anywhere. And when you slow down, the best things happen. I'm like, okay, now I'm biting. Now I'm on. Finally, he said, it makes you a nicer person. I'm like, okay. He said, yeah, because if you piss somebody off, you can't run away. So it makes you nicer to people. I'm like, you get a song out of that. So if the flip-flop fits, go ahead and wear it. Spent my life wearing shoes of leather, tough as nails with toes of steel. But they're no good in this island weather. So I went shopping to find me a deal. I tried on loafers, tried on sneakers. I must have tried about 20 pairs or so. Started feeling like I was Cinderella with that leather in between my toes. If the flip-flop fits, go ahead and wear it. Life is short, you gotta live by the soul. Cause that old tick-tock ticks and the moment's gone. So you better grab a hold of it quick if the flip-flop fits. My big old feet, they were white as winter, slow strolling down the beach. But come next morning, they were red as lobsters. They tan right up by the end of the week. I wear them fishing, I wear them dancing. They keep my feet moving nice and slow. It's funny how your whole world changes with a little leather in between your toes. If the flip-flop fits, go ahead and wear it. Life is short, you gotta live by the soul. Cause that old tick-tock ticks and the moment's gone. So you better grab a hold of it quick if the flip-flop fits. I flew home to Colorado. It was 10 below zero. I got some frostbite on my big toe. Came down here on a week's vacation. That was 25 years ago. I sold the house outside of Denver, and I blew it all on rum and coke. Cause if the flip-flop fits, go ahead and wear it. Life is short, if there's one thing I know, is that old tick-tock ticks and the moment's gone. So you better grab a hold of it quick if the flip-flop fits. If the flip-flop fits, yeah, go ahead and try one on. Oh, they come in all kinds of sizes and shapes and colors. It'll save your soul. Your soul, that soul. The other soul. Thank you. So a very rare occasion, very rare to have that happen and to be inspired by a song. Actually, as songwriters, this is where our songs come from, is real life. Hanging out with you guys, you may say something, I may say something on a beer koozie. That's where songs come from. But this particular night, I was having such a good time. He inspired that one, and then also this next one, because, as I said earlier, a lot of us meet strangers in a bar. By the end of the night, we're the best friends in the world. And then life catches up the next day. You forget all about them. They're gone for that one moment in time. It was special. And then you never hear from them again. But there's something to be said for that. Because every now and then we just kind of need to vent and get some shit out to a complete stranger that you're not going to tell your friends and family, right? You know, you get some shit off your chest. So that's where this one was inspired also by the same guy on the same night. And the sad thing is I don't even remember his damn name. He inspired 2 songs and I don't have a clue who it was. And you know, all of us were strangers at one point. Even all of the best friends out there, we all started as strangers. Some of us are stranger than others, but talking like old pals over a cold one. NASCAR and football and how things are going. Sooner or later it always comes round to love. And all that tough guy talk about who wears the pants turns into tears at the bottom of a glass. We share a few dreams, share a few laughs, yeah. Sometimes we all need a friend like that. Strangers on bar stools, rambling like old fools, arguing over whose blues are worse. Trading war stories and swapping old glories, laughing so hard that it hurts. Then it's last call, one last toast. We say we'll keep in touch, but we both know we'll never see each other again. Yes, sometimes a stranger is the best kind of friend. Sometimes it's hard to tell those we love the best the troubles we need to get off our chest. We don't want them to worry, don't want to let them down. And there's something about a fresh set of ears, neon lights and cold mugs of beer that loosens the tongue and conquers the fears, tears down the walls that have been there for years. Strangers on bar stools, rambling like old fools, arguing over whose blues are worse. Trading war stories and sharing old glories and laughing so hard that it hurts. Then it's last call, one last toast. We say we'll keep in touch, but we both know we'll never see each other again. Yes, sometimes a stranger's the best kind of friend. Then it's last call, one last toast. We say we'll keep in touch, but we both know we'll never see each other again. Yes, sometimes a stranger is the best kind of friend. The best kind of friend. Best kind of friend. Yeah, and alcohol certainly helps. All right, got another new one for you. This is kind of newer-ish. I haven't not got it recorded yet, but I'm hoping to soon. I was just talking with somebody on the break about, like, when are you going to get off your ass and record us a new album? And I'm like, well, you know, I've been busy, you know. I need a couple more songs for it, but I do think I'm going to get in the studio in May when I'm back in Nashville and try to knock one out. That's the beautiful thing about Nashville is in our world, you can go to studios anywhere else in the world and spend days or months or weeks and thousands of dollars recording an album. Or in Nashville, you can literally knock it out in one afternoon because all the best of the best of the best in the world have now moved to Nashville. It's no longer LA, it's Nashville. And those guys knock out albums left and right. The sad thing is they don't get paid near what they're worth. But then again, neither do we as songwriters. It's the way that works. So this one is one that was inspired by living. You know, you guys have probably picked up on my little theme I've got going here so far with the show, with all my songs, is reminding us all to live every day, live every breath, get the most out of this life. Stop worrying about all the arguing with strangers on Facebook about pointless, meaningless, stupid crap and just enjoying this life. But a lot of those songs, thank you. He's the only one that was inspired, apparently. Everybody else, they don't know what I'm talking about. You get it. They don't. I'm teasing. But unfortunately, a lot of those songs, because they're deep and heartfelt, they turn into ballads. And like I said, I'm not going to sit up here all day long and do ballads for you guys. So I was like, I want to write that kind of song, but in a fun, upbeat, like Paul Simon beat kind of way. So me and my friend Eric Urban got together and wrote this next one. See, all of a sudden it just feels happier, doesn't it? I can imagine sitting around here about 50 years ago down the street in Laurel Canyon with all the folks that probably sat around with all those guys before they ever became anybody. Just hanging out on a Saturday afternoon, getting drunk, listening to the mamas and the papas write some songs. Bob Dylan was probably there. He's like, hey guys, this is a new one I wrote. I mean, that's kind of what this feels like. It might have been, maybe, I don't know. I tell people all the time in our Trop Rock and Parrot Head world, a lot of our fans are older. And a lot of these guys were the hippie generation, man, changed the world. They did a lot of drugs in their time. And I tell them, a lot of our fans, they're still on drugs. It's just drugs to keep them alive now. It's like heart pills. The heart didn't change, the drugs did. That's okay. When I was younger, boy, I gave them hell. I played all my cards, the chips fell where they fell. The safe bet was I'd end up dead or in jail before I hit 25. And these days you'll still find me running the town, but it ain't like my head is up in the clouds. I just can't see why I would ever slow down, why I'm still alive. I know without question there ain't no possessions could be half as precious as minutes and seconds. So I'm gonna have the time of my life while I still have the time of my life. If I'm spending these days, then that makes them mine. So I'll buy that ticket, man, I'll drink that wine, and I'll greet that reaper with my glass raised up high, sideways and scream, what a hell of a ride. 'Cause I know without question there ain't no possessions could be half as precious as minutes and seconds. So I'm gonna have the time of my life while I still have the time of my life. If you're feeling it, you can help me sing it, it's okay. It goes the time of my life, the time of my life, the time of my life. I know without question there ain't no possessions could be half as precious as minutes and seconds. So I'm gonna have the time of my life while I still have the time of my life. Come on, the time of my life, the time of my life while I still have the time of my life, while I still have the time of my life, while I still have the time of my life, while I still have the time of my life. That's it. If you leave this show with nothing else today, I hope you go out there and take the world by the balls and live some more of it, because if we wake up tomorrow, that's a blessing. That's right. Well, I got a friend of mine, he's 88 years old, John Bain from Punta Gorda, Florida. And Melissa and I put together among the Belize event, which by the way, I was asked to remind everybody, the Belize event happens the last week of January and or the first week of February. So it's actually a 2-week long event. because we get so many people, the island can't handle that many, so we have to stretch it out and do a couple of weeks. But you can pick the last week of January, the first week of February, or hell, you can, if you're retired, you can come for both of them. If you can afford to live in California, you can damn sure come to afford to live in this event. It's fine. You can move to Belize. You'd be a bajillionaire in Belize with California money, Jesus. But it's about $2,600 a couple, and that covers your hotel room, your golf carts, your hot flights, your everything you need, but basically food and alcohol. If you get yourself to Belize City Airport. And so if you go to meetingofthemayans.com, you can learn more about it. It's on sale now. We just put it on last week. So that's the plug for the event. But as I said, Melissa and I, we do a lot of events. And one of the ones that we did in the early days, a big one, was a cruise. We did a big parrot head cruise. And I'll never forget John and Anna Bain, 88 years old in Punta Gorda, Florida, living every single day to the last. They're still around with us. And every morning, I'd wake up on the cruise and I'd have to go out to the back deck and set up all the stuff, you know, for that day's shows. And there's John and Anna at the time, 83 years old. They're sitting there at the bar. Hey, Mike, how you doing? Hey, John and Anna, good to see you. You know, walk over and set up the stuff. It's like 8 o'clock in the morning. They're at the bar.
Nice.
Okay. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. Let me finish the story. It gets better. So about 3 hours later, I come walking by. Now it's about 11, 12, you know. I've got all my stuff ready to go for the day's activities. And there they are at the bar. But now they got a big old group of young people gathered around, all dancing and having fun. Hey, Mike. Hey, guys. Then I go down after the show. We play our shows about 5 o'clock that evening. There they are up there at the bar with all these people crowded around having a good old time and dancing and drinking. Then we go to the after party after the show, and it's like 10 o'clock at night down at the bar. And there they are having more drinks, having the life of the party. And then it's the after party, and it's like midnight, and there they are again, still there. And this goes on for about 3 or 4 days. And finally I said, John, what the hell is your secret, man? How do you do this? Because, you know, at the time I was in my early 40s, I'm like, I can't keep this shit up. How do you do it? He said, Mike, never slow down.
Yep.
That's the secret to life. Just keep going. When you stop, you might as well die. You got to keep going. Every day you wake up is a blessing.
Slow down, baby.
Yep. Don't let
He
the
said,
old
there's
man
so
down.
many times I'll go to bed at night, and I'm not even sure if I'm going to wake up the next day. But when I do, I figure, you know what? The hardest part's over. It's going to be a good day. A lot of inspiration we can learn from each other, guys. I'll tell you another little side one on that, too. He asked me, Jim Morris was a big, one of the original guys that started our genre for us years ago. And he passed away several years ago. And John came to me. He said, Mike, I want to hire you and your band, Southern Draw Band. I want to hire you to play at my wake when I die. And I thought, well, John, we can't do that. I mean, we're going to be sad and everything. He said, but that's the thing. I want it to be happy. I want everybody to be in a good mood. We'll have a big party out of it, you know, and your band play. And I was like, well, okay, I get what you're going for, but you just understand we're going to be sad, man. We love you. We don't want to see you go. And he said, every day's a blessing in my age. He said, but I want to go ahead and hire you now to play for my thing. I said, okay, I'll tell you what, John, that's cool, but listen, I'm going to need cash. I can't take a check on this one. So. Growing old does not have to suck, does it?
Hey, Mike, you know the difference is between a funeral and a wedding?
No, this should be good. What?
There's one less drunk.
I like that. That's good. All right, I've got one for you, and I am so sorry. What was the name again?
London.
London. Like London.
Pretty much.
Okay, cool. London is a guitar player and musician in his own right, and he said he loves this song of mine. He heard it here last time, and he wasn't quite sure some of the words of it. And it's a great opportunity to play this song. I don't play it as much as I should, actually. It's a song I wrote. If any of you out there have ever put your ass on the line for us in our country, and you served in our military or our public service, you know, nurses and doctors, you guys don't get enough credit. I mean, firemen, policemen, all of you guys, you know, prison guys, prison guards and stuff. All of you got to give your part of your life to keep this country a safe place for the rest of us. Thank you for your service, and this song is for you. I turned the key in that old truck and pointed it toward town. Turned the radio off and rolled the windows down. I was on a mission to find some things I've been missing. It wasn't long when until I found a flag waving. I told you I was going to mess it up. That's the part. That's the one we're talking about. A flag waving, somebody praying, little kids playing baseball in the sun. I went to find a front porch swing, a swinging, an old gospel quartet singing, a grandma shelling peas one by one. I got out and rolled around with Uncle Sam to remind me who I am. I still sleep under a patchwork quilt, no two pieces are alike, but a common thread holds them together tight. The thread, man, that's freedom, and the people, they are us. I saw the morning news, all I could do was try to find a flag waving, somebody praying, and little kids playing baseball in the sun. I went to find a front porch swing, swinging, an old gospel quartet singing, a grandma shelling peas one by one. I got out and rolled around with Uncle Sam to remind me who I am, an American, proud of the stars and stripes, for the ones home on that John Deere, and the ones who've gone to fight for a flag waving, somebody praying, and little kids playing baseball in the sun. I went to find a front porch swing, swinging, an old gospel quartet singing, a grandma shelling peas one by one. I got out and rolled around with Uncle Sam. Oh, I got out and rolled around with Uncle Sam to remind me who I am, to remind me who I am. America, America, God shed His grace on thee. Thank you for saying. Thank you, brother. Thanks for requesting that. I used to play it every single show, and you know, you get so many songs as you become an old songwriter. You forget sometimes. I need to bring that one back. Thank you.
It's a great song.
You know, we got our problems, guys. We always do. Every country's got their problems. Nobody's perfect. I mean, there's a lot of people over the years that gave all for us to be sitting in the backyard having a good time together. You know?
Yep.
I'm not saying this is the only country in the world you could do this in. It's not. We're never going to be perfect, so why do we even care? Let's just do the best we can. Let everybody live the same life. I would like that. That'd be cool. Like I said, one of my favorite things about Belize, just people are people. You know, they got their problems too. They got color. There's two different colors. There's green and the rest of them. Just like us. There's green and the rest of us. That's why it's always been. I try to do what I can through music, though, to remind us all, man, what we're doing this afternoon. This is what it's all about, man. Just having a good time, going out and enjoying your friends and your family and the time that we have here, the days that we wake up. It's, I can guarantee you that nobody ever in the history of the world ever laid on their deathbed and thought, oh, man, I wish I'd argued on Facebook more. I wish I'd have won that argument with that complete stranger that one time on Facebook. No, we just waste so much time doing all these other things that don't matter. Pretty soon you look up one day and there's no time left to do the things that do matter. So do them now while you can.
You're following my Facebook page now.
Is this your Facebook page? This was the first song I ever wrote with that concept in mind. And I don't know, I guess I found a different flavor in life to live by, and I've realized 90% of the way we live our lives is up here, and it's a choice every single day. You can live your life, or you can get, as the old line from the movie, you can get busy living or get busy dying. But in the end, we all end up in the same place. There's a homemade cross on the side of Lake Road. I cleared the weeds just a day ago. It's where I lost my friend to a head-on crash. His football jersey, lucky number 5, was hanging on that chair graduation night where he should have been. Man, I want him back. We were 17 and bulletproof, at least that's what we'd say. You know, I still feel the silence from when they read his name. It was a wake-up call, a warning shot, a kick in the gut reminder that right now is all we got. So I'm gonna live every moment like tomorrow's gone, 'cause all my days are numbered, and I don't know which one I'm on. Well, it hit me hard when I got the news. I drove to his house fighting back the truth, hoping he was there, working on his truck. 'Cause we'd made our plans for that summer road trip to hit every beach on our bucket list, throw some coins down, and rack those memories up. Yeah, we talk about those college girls and how we'd spend our lives, never once thinking twice we had anything but time. It was a wake-up call, a warning shot, a kick in the gut reminder, right now is all we got. So I'm gonna live every moment like tomorrow's gone, 'cause all my days are numbered, and I don't know which one I'm on. So I try to soak in every minute like it might be my last, and I thank God for every grain of sand in my hourglass. It was a wake-up call, a warning shot, a kick in the gut reminder, right now is all we got. So I'm gonna live, laugh and love like tomorrow's gone, 'cause all our days are numbered, and I don't know which one I'm on. No, all my days are numbered. There's a homemade cross on the side of Lake Road. I clear the weeds every week or so. It's where I lost my friend. Thank you. Remember what I said earlier, when it gets too serious, it's time for a funny song? This is a song I wrote about my Johnson. It's the perfect thing, you know, you gotta bring them down, make them think, make them sad, but then immediately you gotta bring them back up, because this shit's gonna get too sad for all of us. Because life is a series of epic failures and epic successes. We're up, we're down. One day we're here, the next we're gone. One day you're sitting here listening to me sing a song I wrote about my Johnson. So the funny thing is, I have your undivided attention just as much as I did when I was singing some serious shit. So you should think about yourselves right now. The decisions you made to lead you to this point in life right now. By the way, this is a song about a boat motor, okay? So if you make something else out of it, that's your twisted ass mind. It's got nothing to do with me. It's not mine. I don't mean to sound too crude by putting down your Evan Rude, but lately I'm the envy of the lake. Yeah, them Mercury boys, they had their shot. Now they all want the one I got, and that jealousy is more than they can take. Cause when I pull up, the girls all grin. They love to watch me putting in. You ought to see that smile on my face as I crank it up and say, y'all jump on. I give a little gas and then we're gone, and I'm leaving all those others in my wake. Ever since I got my Johnson, I've been showing it off out in the hot sun. I swear I turn the head of everyone out on the water having too much fun. Now all the fellas wish they had one. When the girls see it, they say, damn, son. But this feeling's better than a home run. They're going nuts about my Johnson. My competition ain't even stiff. I got a whole lot of horse for a little old skiff, and that rooster tail sends shivers up their spine. They churn a little water with their inline fours, but me, I churn a whole lot more, and it's driving all them Honda boys out of their mind. Cause the jaws all drop and I cruise by, them girls start waving, the fellas just cry. There ain't much else I can do but wave goodbye. So better hang on tight when I'm hitting the gas. Wherever I'm going, I'm getting there fast. Throttle to the bottom and I'm leaving them all behind. Ever since I got my Johnson, I've been showing it off out in the hot sun. I swear I turn the head of everyone out on the water having too much fun. Now all the fellas wish they had one. When the girls see it, they say, damn, son. This feeling's better than a home run. They're going nuts about my Johnson. I knock them out like a hole in one. Now everybody wants my Johnson. Yeah. Oh, there's one I missed. Oh. Damn, I gotta add that one to it. That's been around for 15 years. It's time to add some new shit. Maybe it's time to go back and write an updated verse for that. Yeah, I'll make a special verse about singing in Tehachapi, California about a boat in a lake.
There is one.
Oh, there's lakes here.
Well, just one.
Oh, good. Okay, cool. Because otherwise I'm thinking,
Well, I don't think you can have
the
a
desert
boat.
is not the place you want to sing about lakes to people. They're not going to understand what you're doing.
I'm on Bright Lake.
But I also remember that, like, what, probably 75% of you guys are not from here anyway, right? You're from some other place, most of you are. How many of you guys were, like, from California? You were born and raised in California? Okay, I couldn't have been wrong. Okay, perfect. About half and half, though. The other half was somewhere else, and you dreamed of California, or you got a job transfer, or whatever brought you out here, right? Cool. I'll tell you where the other half went. Nashville, Tennessee.
Yes, they did.
Yep, sure enough. And Texas.
Don't California up that.
They've sold y'all's $2 million cardboard shack out here and come and bought 4 houses in Tennessee, and now we can't afford to buy a house in Tennessee because, well, they're expensive.
You just had the wrong real estate agent.
Apparently.
Wow.
Yes. I was talking to somebody a minute ago, too, who said they just moved back out here. Who was that, from North Carolina? One of you guys. Oh, there you are. Said that they had just sold in North Carolina and they moved here to California, and I'm like, that's the way to get them back. They're leaving here, coming over there. Well, screw them. Just same way with Mexico. You know, all the illegal stuff and stuff. I'm like, screw it. Just go down to Mexico. You know how cheap it is. They don't want to leave there. Come up here. Let them come up. We'll move to Mexico. We'll flip the border. It'll be fine. All right, enough politics. How many? This is normally a question I have to rephrase, but since we do have a lake here, I think I can get this one in. You'll understand what I mean. How many boaters do we have out there? Anybody with a boat?
Used to.
1, 2, 3, 4, 4.5. Is that one each or one together? That's 1, 2, 3.
Does trolling motors count?
I mean, if it's a boat, if it floats.
We have
All right,
kayaks.
cool.
How about no motor?
We have kayaks.
That works.
Kayaks.
All right, so we got about 8 boaters out of 50 people. Cool. I know what's going on here. How many people out there have a friend with a boat? There should be a lot more of those.
How many people?
That's the best kind of boat to have.
How many people? That
Yeah. Why the hell would you want to own a boat when you can just get a friend that has a boat and it's a lot cheaper, you know?
gonna sing that song?
Costs you a 12-pack. That's it. Well, my favorite kind of boat's a friend's boat, and this is a song about a friend's boat that I was on one time. I actually grew up on a lake in Tennessee, and I got out fishing a lot on the lake, and, you know, we weren't well-to-do or anything, so I had a little John boat. That's all I needed to get out there on the water, you know, I was happy. And then there's always, on every lake in America, there's always that asshole that's got the 56-footer, 5 Mercs on the back, you know, all the party and stuff. And it's a fishing boat, but it's not really a fishing boat because they never even fish. It's a drinking boat, right? And when you're out on the water in your little boat, he's always the one. There's a whole lake out there, and he comes right by you and throws a 10-foot wake and scares off all your fish. You know what I'm talking about, right?
But he's got a small Johnson.
There you go. He needs to. We need to knock his Johnson down a little bit. Keep a smaller Johnson on. Anyway, we were out at one time with a buddy of mine, and he was one of those guys that he had the boat, you know. And I didn't know this when he invited us out on the lake, so I was like, yeah, he's cool. We'll go out and have fun with him. And we end up on the 56-footer, 5 Mercs on the back center console, 40 people on this boat on a lake literally the size of like this backyard. I was like, oh God, I'm on the asshole's boat now, you know. But the thing about it was I learned a valuable lesson that day because, you know, my whole life I've been hating on this guy from the small boat, thinking he's being an asshole and going right by me and just doing it on purpose and always boom music and scaring off all my fish. And then I realized that day when you're on the big boat with the cool guy, and he was cool, it wasn't personal. He was having so much fun driving his big fancy boat. He wasn't paying any attention to anything going on around him at all. And I realized all these years I've been hating on this guy who doesn't even know I exist. So I thought, I'm going to write me a song about the drinking boat guy. And what it must be for a day in the life of the drinking boat, of a guy who can drop like $2 million on a boat that he might use 5 times a year. This is must be what it feels like to be that guy. I went and got myself a drinking boat, 'cause I'm not out here for the fishing. I got no bait, but I got shade for the ladies. If you should find you got one missing, you'll hear me blasting out my stereo. Break out some burgers, grill them up. I got a blender and some beer. I don't need no fishing gear, 'cause all I'm catching is a buzz. I put my drinking boat in and out, and all the ladies, they just scream and shout. I rev it up and they climb aboard. So much bikinis makes my eyes get sore. I like to stick it in cruise control, pop a beer and let the good times roll. I buzz by you while you're baiting your hooks. I see you giving me them dirty looks. That's why I got myself a drinking boat, 'cause I'm not out here for the fishing. I got no bait, but I got shade for all the ladies. If you should find your girlfriend missing, you'll hear me blasting out my stereo. Break out some burgers, grill them up. I got a blender and some beer. I don't need no fishing gear, 'cause all I'm catching is a buzz. My drinking boat holds all my friends. They're always telling me how cool I am. I see you checking out the hot chicks. I buzz by and scare away your fish. While you're tangled in a low tree, I know you really wish that you were me. 'Cause while you're cranking on your Johnson, I'm getting drunk with your girlfriend. Oh, sticking in cruise control, man. Watch out for that stick shift over there. You guys have a party cove on the lake here? There's always a party cove on every lake. You guys have a party cove? All the boats tie up together on a Saturday afternoon and see how drunk they can get and then try to make it back home before the cops show up. Well, you understand what a party cove is, right? While I'm tossing out my anchor down at Party Cove, I see you trolling around holding on to your little pole. You might be catching you a trophy bass, but I'll be getting me some trophy Ask me what I did about it. Ask me what I did about it.
What'd you do about it?
I went and got myself a drinking boat. Now I'm not out here for the fishing. I got no baby, but I got shade for all these ladies. If you should find your wife is missing, you'll hear me blasting out that stereo. Break out my burgers, grill 'em up. I got a blend and some beer. I don't need no fishing gear, cause all I'm catching is a bug. So while you're shaking your fist, I'll be drinking like a fish. I'm only here to catch a bug. All the boaters out there. I have to be careful where I'm at in the country when I say boaters, because if you guys haven't picked up by now, you know, the Tennessee accent, it can be difficult sometimes. And I find when I'm up north, like in Minnesota and stuff, or especially in New England, and I say, I got any boaters out there? And they all look at each other like they don't understand what I'm sorry, boaters. Is there any boaters out there? I have to enunciate. All right, you guys want to stay on the boat porn thing, or you want to move on to something else?
Boat porn?
All right, more boat porn. Cool. Well, I know being this close to the Pacific, we've got to have some sailboaters out there somewhere. Somebody's got to. Oh, okay. You guys have a friend with a sailboat then, right? There we go. See, I got a smart bunch of folks up here. You're smart enough to not live in LA. You're smart enough to have a bunch of friends with boats. You guys have figured this shit out. What was that?
What does boat stand for?
Break out another 1,000. Yes, it is true. So this one I wrote many years ago. I was living in Cocoa Beach, Florida, and playing a show down in Melbourne, Florida, or I'm sorry, Sebastian, Florida. Every Monday night, and I would go down to play the bar, and I'd drive over the intercoastal waterway, like the bridge. And down in that area of the country, when hurricanes come through, which is pretty rare, I mean pretty often, all the boats, you know, they get kind of washed up on the shores and they get banged up and everything. And 9 times out of 10, the people get paid from insurance, so they just leave them out there. So if you drive by the bays, a lot of the old big bays in Florida, you got all these old half-sunk boats and stuff listed up on the side of the shore. And there was this one particular really nice looking, looked like it used to be a really nice, beautiful, big sailboat. And now it was kind of laid up on its side on the shore. And it was kind of there. Every time I drive by, I just noticed it every Monday. And what made it stand out was somebody had taken the time to make a big old sign that said free. And I just thought it was clever. You know? I was like, that's funny, something fun to do with an old piece of junk. But, you know, as in life, you just see these things there, and they're landmarks, and you drive by them every day, and you tend to forget about them. All of a sudden, I looked up one day, and it was gone. And that's what made me start thinking about it in different terms. And I thought, well, I wonder if somebody came and got that old boat, or, you know, maybe it finally washed out to sea. And then I thought, oh my God, it never occurred to me before that there's a story in that boat. You know, imagine when it was new and shiny and beautiful and, you know, probably very expensive, and then maybe a retired couple had saved up their life savings and they bought this boat and they were going to sail around the world and all these amazing things. You know, and now how sad to see it sitting there, just all the dreams and hopes just dead, you know, rotting away. And I thought that can be like relationships sometimes too. You know, it's new and shiny when you first get it and everything's beautiful about it, and then by the end of it, it's just a dilapidating piece of shit you just want to get rid of. I was on my second divorce at the time, okay? So you gotta keep things in perspective, folks. That's when this song was born. You thought I was about to get serious on you for a minute, didn't you? Well, I can still remember the first time I saw her. She was all alone, soaking up sun down by the water. She was the prettiest thing I'd ever seen, holding a cardboard sign that just said, take me. Well, I knew that all she needed was someone to treat her right. Yeah, them first few weeks she kept me up all night. She's a little dirty, all covered in grime. She don't look like much, but she's a mine all mine. And it's something about the way she makes me feel when I wrap my hands around her big old wheel. takes forever to get her motor going, so I only take her out when there's gonna be some blowing. Then I'll reach down and grab her rudder. Man, I just love to feel her shake and shudder. She drinks gasoline, she's got a small head. Yep, she sure looks rough, but she's a beauty to me. She's got all I need. She's 27 feet of love. Well, I let my buddies take her out last weekend. They passed out inside of her when they got to drinking. I've even got pictures of her tied to a tree in the backyard. Yeah, I banged her on the dock Sunday afternoon. Oh, I took it deep for at least a time or two. And there ain't nothing in this world for her that I wouldn't do. 'Cause when we're all alone sailing on the ocean blue, it's something about the way she makes me feel when I wrap my hands around her big old wheel. It takes forever to get her motor going, so I only take her out when there's gonna be some blowing. Then I'll reach down and grab her rudder. Man, I just love her when she shakes and shudders. She drinks gasoline, she's got a dirty head. Yep, she sure looks rough, but she's a beauty to me. She's got all I need. She's 27 feet of love. Ooh, that's a lot of love. That's not all, there's more. You know, I gave her a deck, I cleaned out her pipes, I bought her a new set of big bow lights. I wax that aft, I plug her leaks, I spend all my time rubbing on her teak. Something about the way she makes me feel when I wrap my hands around them brand new wheels. Oh, it takes forever to get her motor going, so I only take her out when I'm gonna get some blowing. Then I reach down and grab that rudder. Woo, I love it when she shakes and shudders. She drinks gasoline, she's got a small head. Yep, she sure looks rough, but she's a beauty to me. She's got all I need. She's 27 feet of love. I'm 27 feet of love, love, love. Oh, I tell you what, y'all, I sure do love her, man. I just stuck a big generator in her last night. What was she like that one? We erected the mast. Yeah, I gave her some hard wood, let me tell you. She got a little mad when I stuck it in her porthole. She didn't like that one. But it's okay, I've got a little dinghy. It wasn't hurting anything, it's just... But it's got a big old Johnson on the back of it. Oh, thank you so much. Thanks for playing along.
You ever
Well,
thought about being a comedian?
A comedian?
Yeah.
No, I'm a magician. When I play, people disappear. All right, I got one joke for you. I'm not a comedian, but I got one joke for you. This is a Sonny Jim joke. I have to credit my friend Sonny Jim for this one. And I'm already going to text him. We're going to get him here. He has to come. Like, he was born in freaking Bakersfield. Where else is he going to find a house concert anywhere with 100 miles of Bakersfield, right?
He graduated in Bakersfield.
I'm sorry, graduated. Yeah, he was born in San Antonio. We figured that out earlier, right? Yeah. Graduated Bakersfield. You know what? I could see that in Jim, too. That California sound vibe from here. Yeah. We got to get him here. Let's make a video. You know what? Where's my phone? We're going to do this shit right now. We're going to get Sonny Jim to come to Tehachapi. Is this technically Tehachapi or is it
Tehachapi.
close enough? Okay, that's like. All right, when I count to 3, I want all of you guys to just scream out on cue, Sonny Jim, come to Tehachapi.
Okay.
Got it?
Can we practice first?
You know, actually, sometimes the best times are, let me just record, practice, and then we'll do it again. Let's record, practice, because if it sucks, we can do it again. I've never understood that about us with our modern phones. Remember back in the younger days when we had the snap sheet, and you got like 12 pictures or 24 pictures, and you snap one, and then 2 months later you go get your film developed, and you go, oh, that was a terrible picture. Why didn't we take 2 or 3 pictures back then? But now, like, you can see it on your phone. You know if it was a good picture or not, and we take 15 pictures of the same picture now. We got it backwards. All right, I think I can get everybody in one. This is going to be a practice round. I'm not recording or anything. It's just a practice round. All right. 1, 2, 3. Sonny Jim, come to Tehachapi. All right. Cool. That was perfect. See?
That was perfect.
That's why you don't practice.
That's right.
Same musicians, we do the same shit. We're like, yeah, we're just going to practice. So just run through it real quick. And that's when you hit record, because that's when the magic happens. Well, I got time for a few more for you guys. So, let's see. We've been to Belize. We've been to Mexico.
Let's go back to Tennessee. How about that?
Tennessee. Well, you know, there is one song I wrote about the band days many years ago when we were on tour with my band. And we used to come, I'll never forget coming out here to California for the first time. It was like, oh my God, we're in California. This is the dream, man. This is it, the land of gold. And it was, the early days of our touring were very cool because we were never like a somebody. You know what I mean? We worked hard and we built our thing from the ground up, one fan at a time. We found ourselves after a few years of it, you know, in our own tour bus and touring around opening for some of the bigger acts like Charlie Daniels and Leonard Skinner and Jimmy Buffett and things. And it was always so amazing because my heart has always been in this, the house concert thing. I like this. I swear to God, I'd rather play a backyard for 50 people than a stage for 50,000 because I can see you guys. We can connect. On a stage that big, you see the first couple of rows of people and that's it. You can feel the energy, but you don't really see people, you know. It's hard to connect. And this one right here was one that, let me get the lick. Okay, I got it. This was one of the first songs that I wrote when we were out on the road in those younger days. And I just wanted to write about all the places we'd been at the time, the things we'd seen. And one of my favorite things about being on tour was going home. It's the craziest thing in the world. But even till today, like all these years later, people ask me, Mike, where do you and Melissa go on vacation? You know, you live on vacation. You're on vacation. I say, home. We go home. Never, ever take for granted what it's like to sleep in your own bed every night. Especially your back. I feel like Goldilocks with a bad back. Like it's too hard, it's too soft. It is a beautiful life to get out there and see and live. And I'm very, very blessed. And I thank you guys for being here and being a part of that and helping make that happen today. But don't sell it too short of just making your own place in this world and being happy right where you're at, because there's a lot to be said for that. This is called Tennessee Line, and you guys made it into the song. It said California Sunsets. I miss the hills back home in Tennessee, and I miss your tender loving arms around me. I wish that I was there tonight with you beside that firelight. There's nowhere else on earth I'd rather be than holding you back home in Tennessee. This old road keeps getting longer, but I wouldn't trade a single day. Each mile I take brings me closer to you, but you're still a million miles away. Yesterday in New York City, I saw your face up in the lights. And that night before, down on that Carolina shore, I swear you were walking by my side. But I miss the hills back home in Tennessee, and I miss your tender loving arms around me. I wish that I was there tonight with you beside that firelight. There's nowhere else on earth I'd rather be than holding you back home in Tennessee. California. I saw you in a sunset sky. We crossed the deserts of Arizona, and we've shared a Rocky Mountain high. We fished the Gulf in Pensacola. That Floribama was a ball. Had hand grenades down in New Orleans the night the rain was pouring. How about New England in the fall? But I miss the hills back home in Tennessee, and I miss your gentle loving arms around me. I wish that I was there tonight with you beside that firelight. There's nowhere else on earth I'd rather be than holding you back home in Tennessee. We found our treasure down in Key West, tasted that sweet corn in Ohio. Remember that night in old El Paso? We crossed the bridge to Mexico. We hit the jackpot out in Reno, and we spent it all on Georgia Shine. We've seen the snow in Erie, PA, sat in traffic out in LA, seen that big Montana sky. Now after all these miles are gone, I'm finally headed home for that Tennessee line. Yes, sat in traffic out in LA. Don't have to tell y'all about that. Try driving a tour bus through LA. See how that shit works out for you. I have a whole new respect for the guys that drive buses in that town, that's for sure. So Melissa's from Erie, Pennsylvania. They get an average of 260 inches of snow a year.
Yuck.
She hates snow. Honestly, I almost couldn't get her out of the car when she saw the few snow. She's like, no, no. Well, guys, thank you so much for sharing an awesome afternoon with me. I hope that today's inspired you, made you laugh, made you cry a little bit, made you think about life. To me, this is it. Thanks for but just by showing up and trying something new today for some of you guys, and for some of you guys coming back after you already saw the show once, that means a lot that you'd come back. I can't believe it. You must have really been bored today. You had nothing else. No, I'm teasing, guys. Thanks so much. This, to me, is I get to be one of the luckiest guys on the planet because I'm doing what I dreamed of as a little kid for a living. And not all of us had dreams, and not many of us got to achieve those necessarily in the way we thought that we would. But not a day goes by that I don't feel blessed, and I want to inspire others that if you have any dreams at all, go for it, man. It might not have to be being a billionaire guy or this or that. You might not become an astronaut, but go find something that makes you happy in this world, and I promise you, you'll treat the people around you a lot better, and just get through this thing together. So thank you for helping me make my living doing what I love this afternoon, guys. When's your next one? Tell us what you got coming up next.
Sauce Boss, May 17th.
Nice. Come hungry. He makes a killer gumbo. The Sauce Boss. He does all this fun stuff, and then he cooks while he's playing. It's freaking amazing, and everybody tries the gumbo at the end. He's a really fun dude. Jimmy Buffett wrote a song about it.
I have 2 requests.
Yeah, what do you got?
What's the name of the first trop rock song you wrote?
Oh, God.
What's the name of
The
that?
first trop rock song I
It's
wrote.
my favorite song of yours.
Oh, like band days or single solo days?
Before that.
Ah.
very first
Against Another Day in Paradise. Okay.
That and Stay Thirsty.
All right.
Oh,
I'll
you-
do them both.
Right, he
We'll
didn't
do them
play
both.
Stay Thirsty, did he?
Well, speaking of thirsty, I got a little bit of rum left.
Poor
So,
decision.
I got more right here.
you're not getting out of here yet. That was the end of the good show. Now comes the drinking show. We're going to be here till 2 o'clock in the damn morning.
There we go.
I got a motorhome down the road, so we're good.
The poor decisions.
That's my favorite thing about playing house concerts is we normally stay at the house with our friends. I don't have to stumble but about 30 feet, y'all. I'm good. How about I do Stay Thirsty first?
Yes, nice.
Yes. God, I haven't played this one. But give me a
If you
second.
stay thirsty, you got to do 4 decisions too.
I don't. There it is. It's crazy how shit comes back. All right, yeah. So this is just one, just one of those happy songs about staying thirsty. There's more in life than just drinking. I haven't found it yet. I don't want to drink, but everybody around me is drunk. And have you ever tried to hang out with drunk people when you're sober? It's not fun. No.
Yeah, it is. It's kind
So here's to drinking on a Saturday evening. Why not?
Beautiful weather.
We're going to consider it a Saturday afternoon. How about that?
Sure. You can't drink all day if you don't start in the morning. Right?
That way we still have the evening to drink.
That is a Donnie Brewer song, actually. That's one of those I wish I'd have wrote. You can't drink all day if you don't start in the morning. This crazy life can feel a little bit more like a fight we're in. But there's a way about a lot of tunnels in. Stay thirsty, my friends. And that crazy dream, that's all it ever seems like now and then. Man, I've been chasing that thing since God knows when. Stay thirsty, my friends. And hey, oh, happy hours coming. Got some living worth chugging on tap just around the bend. Keep on keeping on, ain't offering nothing. You'll be back to buzzing again. Stay thirsty, my friends. Stay thirsty, my friends. All that crazy love never stays like it was when you first fell in. But you're a backseat from going back again. Stay thirsty, my friends. And hey, oh, happy hours coming. Got some living worth chugging on tap just around the bend. Keep on keeping on, ain't all for nothing. You'll be back to buzzing again. Stay thirsty, thirsty for the things that wet your lips, and thirsty for one more baby's kiss. Thirsty for this, man, that ain't all there is. Hey, oh, happy hours coming. Got some living worth chugging on tap just around the bend. Keep on keeping on, ain't offering nothing. You'll be back to buzzing again. Riding out on your second wind. Stay thirsty, my friends. Stay thirsty, my friends. Oh, stay thirsty. I mean, in California, you could stay thirsty for another governor, maybe one day. Did I say that? Son of a bitch, I wasn't supposed to get political. I'm so sorry. Oh, I just spent last week in San Diego, and they're not really fond of him, so I don't know how you feel about it. Thought it might be a nice chance to get a little dig out there. I don't live in California. I live where all the Californians live, in Tennessee. Hi guys, thanks so much. This is the very first song I ever wrote when I was chasing a dream. I looked up, I was about 30 years old, and I was tired of life in the big city of Nashville. I was tired of the daily grind, the crap. I said, you know what? Maybe this music thing is never going to work. Maybe I'm just going to move to the beach and get me a little bum job, doing what I love, drinking and playing Jimmy Buffett music at the beach. And I threw caution to the wind. I sold off, oh God, pretty much everything I owned. I packed the rest of it in a little car, and I headed south to Florida. I landed in Cocoa Beach, Florida for a short time. I'll never forget riding down the road one afternoon. I picked up a couple of bar gigs, paying $150. Didn't pay much money. I made maybe another $100 in tips, but the most important thing was I got a free bar tab. Yes, I finally found a way to get paid to drink. It was the realization of a lifelong quest. And I realized the most important thing in this life, like I said, is just make the best of your situation and have some fun with it. And I never forget, I was driving down the road the first time when I started writing this song. The first time I was in one of those Florida thunderstorms. Now that shit ain't no joke. But I looked up through the clouds and I noticed, well, that's odd. The sun still shines even through the rain down here in Florida. It must be one of those amazing places to live. And then it occurred to me that the metaphor for that in our lives is even when the rain clouds are on the horizon, even when you're going through a thunderstorm in life, never forget, the sun's always shining on the other side of those clouds. Maybe that's a good mantra to live by. I don't know. Thanks for coming out, guys. This is my last one for Cliff. I set out on a road so long ago, on a path to nowhere, wound up here, caught up in the middle of a life I know, where the days roll by without a care. See that trace of a smile on my face, it's the places I go, the people I meet, we're all the same here, no reason to complain here. Pour another cold beer and pull up a seat where the nights are always young. Nobody ever gets old. It might not quite be heaven, but they sure good for the soul. Yeah, the surf's up, the sun is high, it's a beautiful day. Life is alright, sit around watching the clouds roll by. It's just another day in paradise. Oh, look around. Well, I don't need to know where this life is going. My sails are full, the wind's still blowing. Watching the waves drift by at my pace, a little like a day goes by in this place, sitting somewhere south of a little bit warm, where the sun keeps shining through the rain and storms. And what do I need but a hammock and a tree, a warm breeze, cold drinks and cut-off teas, where the nights are always young. Nobody ever gets old. It might not quite be heaven, but it's sure good for the soul. Yeah, the surf's up, the sun is high, it's a beautiful day. Life is alright, sit around watching the clouds roll by. It's just another day in paradise. Oh, 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 oh. Cliff and Karen, big old round of applause for Cliff and Karen out there. Some people just give up their backyards for us for an afternoon. These guys came out here and planted all these damn flags. They got a bed in the backyard, for God's sakes. When I first walked up, I was like, do you think my music's going to put people to sleep or something? Now, thanks so much for all the work you put into it. And thank Cliff for bringing out his big cock for the afternoon. I saw Crystal over there eyeing that cock. She's thinking about going, Mike, you might want to be careful. She's going to go home with the cock. I mean, it is an awfully big one, I'm just saying. Hey! I set out on a road so long ago, on a path to nowhere, wound up in California, caught up in the middle of a life I know, where the days go by without a care. See that trace of a smile on my face, it's the places I go, the people I meet, we're all the same here, no reason to complain here. Pour another cold beer, pull up a seat where the nights are always young. Nobody ever gets old. It might not quite be heaven, but it's sure good for the soul. Yeah, the surf's up, the sun is high, it's a beautiful day. Life is alright, sit around watching the clouds roll by. It's just another day in paradise. And it's just another day in paradise. It's just another day in paradise. On the green side of the grass. Have a great night, everybody. Be safe going on. I'll see you on next time. And don't take the cock with you. Leave it here.
Oh, thanks for being here. Thanks, Mike.
Thank you.